live, uncut, unedited, tell the truth, and shame the devil. I love being black. All right, people. This is definitely live, uncut, and unedited. Come on in, come on in. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. I promise you we do. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We got a great show tonight. Many of you heard me talk about it around the 17th of March. We're talking about the police and the state's attorney office. People, let me just say this, and I know a lot of you guys don't want to hear what I got to say, but it doesn't matter, but we're going to say it anyway. A lot of people don't care nothing about black people. Even some black people don't even care. They can care less if something happened to one of us. Why? Because it's not their own. Only time it seems like we care is when it directly affects us. And it's a shame. It's a shame. Some of you guys hate to be what God bless you to be. But I guarantee you, it's a lot of people would love to be in your shoes, walk in your shoes if you was living. A lot of people. When I tell you a lot of people, people, we got a great show tonight. We're going to be a little late, so plan to stay a little late with me because I want to kind of like walk my way through this. And I just want to walk my way through it because it's a great subject. Hey, it's a great subject, and we want to talk about it. You know, it's a great subject. And we got the article as well to put up. Appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. I know some of it is late, but for those of you that's watching without really coming in, hey, shame on you. All right. We're going to, I went to a meeting on yesterday, and it was a meeting for 12 o'clock at the Park District, 65th and Racine. A lot of you guys are familiar in Englewood, that park. And I came to the meeting late. It started at 12, but I don't believe it started on time. So the meeting was about felony review. And let me just give you a little bit about it, what's going on about it. They are allowing police to do the things that state's attorney, district attorneys do. But what do you mean, Martin? They charge you. They said it's lower level felonies. And there's no way that an officer can charge someone with a felony. That's solely up to the district attorney, the prosecuting attorney's office to do that. They have to approve these charges. And basically, we're going to listen to a few people in Englewood. We had a couple of aldermen as well, but I want to try to like skim through this information so we can get to the meat. Because if we got to get to the meat, people. We got to get to the meat. We got to get to the meat. I want to skim through it. And I know a lot of you guys are going to come in and say what we talking about. And this meeting took place yesterday, 6500 South Racine. I believe the name is let me see the name of that park. So I want to be correct because people, I don't, in my reporting, I do my best to be fair. Now, sometimes I can be biased, but I try to keep my biased opinion out of this. We're taking calls too as well. Let me put that up. Let me put that up, put the number as well, because we're going to take some calls, but you might be held on. I'm just trying to warm us up so we can get to the place to know what's going on, people. So those of you just tuning in, we're talking about a meeting took place in Englewood. And that's what we're talking about. It was a town hall meeting. And it was held in, it was a special call meeting. The 7th District Council invites you to attend a town hall meeting Saturday, April the 5th, 12 noon at Ogden Park, 6500 South Racine, Chicago, Illinois. The topic of discussion, a newly proposed initiative that empowers 7th District CPD officers to file gun charges without undergoing the traditional felony review process. And that's real talk. And that's crucial. That's crucial. That is crucial, people. And we have to protect ourselves. So if those of you just tuning in, please come in. Please come in before I start the video. And I need you guys to come on in. Yep. Come on in. We had a big meeting yesterday in Englewood. Now, the topic of discussion is a newly proposed initiative to empower 7 districts CPD police officers to file gun charges, my, without undergoing the traditional felony review process. This is something. So we're going we got a video in Ogden Park, and we're going to show it. I'm going to skim through it. I want to give a shout out to all the aldermen that came and showed up. So we're going to go through the video. So don't call in right now. We're going to go through the video and work it that way. That's what we're going to do. We're going to work the video, and I'm going to skim through it. We had a couple of aldermen. We had Alderman Raymond Lopez. We had Stephanie Coleman, Alderman Stephanie Coleman. Okay, who we are? Okay, here they are. We're finna play it now. I don't want to miss it, but I'm gonna cut through that.
My colleagues in the City Council, Chairman of Black Caucus, Chairman Stephanie Coleman, and to Raymond Lopez, my mother seatmate, 15, 16, and 17, down in City Council. To my brother Anthony Driver, for the work that you do. I truly appreciate you, man, and everything that you do. Let me first start by saying one thing you all hear me do. Welcome to the 17th Ward. And this is not a 17th Ward initiative. This is an Englewood initiative. But right now we're sitting at 17th Ward. So I want to welcome everybody to the 17th Ward. And my colleague, Will Hall, Alderman William Hall, just walked in. Have a seat, man. You know, we like Jesus, man. Somebody got it. Yeah, I know you're right. Love you, brother. Thanks for coming. And so, one of the things that we do in the 17th Ward, you hear me say we inform, educate, and empower. So I want you first.
Okay, now who you're listening to? You're listening to David Moore right now. David Moore showed up at the meeting, which he is an alderman in Englewood. Stephanie Coleman showed up. Raymond Lopez showed up. And they all gave their speech about this new pilot program. That's what they did. So we're going to listen a little bit more, and we're going to try to speed things up.
To get informed, get educated, so that you can be empowered to help make give your input on this. I am disturbed though, and it's more from the state's attorney's office than anything. I think our police are looking for ways to do great work, and that's important. And we're going to always be supportive of them, and I definitely know I am. But I do wish that the state's attorney's office would have collaborated not only with the Alderman, but definitely this elected body here, because they're the liaison between that's why they were elected. They're the liaison between the community and their partnership with CPD. As we're doing good, and I believe we've been doing excellent here in Englewood, working together with our police officers. And I hate when something comes in to disturb that, because we've been rocking here in Englewood. And so I think that disturbed a little bit because it's a lack of communication from the state's attorney's office. I understand. I hope she had an emergency. She probably did, but sometimes you got to counsel some things to be at important meetings. That's why I flew in back from DC this morning for a one-day trip. I had a very important something to do. I was
Listen to this. If we had a different perspective, listen real hard. This is Alderman Raymond Lopez, also Alderman that have a certain part of Englewood. Listen up, people. Listen up. It make a lot of sense, but you may not be in agreement.
And
but
thank you to the district counselors here in 7 who do a great job. It's always a pleasure to hear 2 of the 15th ward's finest, by the way.
Yes.
Representing us.
Why don't you own apartment buildings? Seriously, why don't you own these big apartment buildings? And I get it.
Sure.
You might be thinking right now, well, Tyler, my word, it's because I don't have millions and millions and millions of...
Let's skip that. Okay, go ahead.
46 charges. And as we have this discussion about this pilot, I want to also put things in perspective, because that also means at least 46 victims. 46 families that were impacted by gun violence by someone who should never have had a gun to begin with. So as we talk about the nature of whether or not this pilot should have been brought here, the engagement that did or did not happen, we cannot forget the victims of gun violence in our communities. 3 months. 46 people that were just eligible for this pilot, not to mention the ones that were not. So keep them and and their families in your prayers and top of mind as we have this conversation. But as I'm sitting here, I think that we have to temper down the rhetoric a little bit, because sometimes folks get lost in the incorrect or inconsistent information about pilot programs, and that works people into a frenzy as though there's something nefarious going on. But we've had pilots in our communities before. We've led the city with pilots time and time again. And one of the most notable pilots that I can think of was ShotSpotter, which started right here in the 7th District and became a model for the entire city. So much so that my colleague here fought for it. And though some might find it hilarious, it saved lives. It brought safety to communities. And that is what all of these pilots are designed to hopefully do, to bring safety, security, and peace to our neighborhoods that oftentimes get none of that. Restorative justice was a pilot. Don't forget that. And look how that has been working. We've heard it advocated today. Another pilot. The Veterans Court was a pilot to divert veterans from having to go through, especially when they've been dealing with self-medication and other issues in our neighborhoods. Even some of the diversionary programs that are out there all started as pilots. Some of our best successes in our neighborhoods have to start somewhere. A pilot is a way to see what works, what doesn't, make tweaks, make adjustments.
Okay, let me hold it right there. I just got there was some incorrect
self-medication and other issues in our neighborhoods.
Hold on, people.
Which started right mind as we have this conversation. But as I'm sitting here, I think that someone who should never have had a gun.
Hold on. I want to bring out the point.
46 charges. And as we have this discussion about this pilot.
Okay, now hold it right there. Hold it right there. Now, right there, he said 46, and you're going to hear him repeating it. 46, right? But actually, in this gun pilot program, there are no victims. Okay, well, what are you saying, Martin? No one got shot or anything. No victims. No armed robbery. These are people that got caught that don't have a license. Sometimes you can have a gun license, still get arrested. You can get arrested. Well, what do you mean, Martin? If you a licensed concealed holder and you have one in the chamber in your 9mm, you can actually be arrested. Be honest with you. Yeah, sir, please. I got to put you on mute. This is me. All right, listen, you could be arrested here in the city of Illinois. So what I'm saying is there are no victims. Now, he talked about what about the victims, but there are no victims in these 46 cases that they're talking about. Let's carry on with the thing. Let me finish playing.
I want to also put things in perspective, because that also means at least 46 victims. 46 families.
Hold on. Hold it right there. There are no victims in these cases, these arrests that they're talking about. All right? Just let you guys know, he got the wrong information. This is what he's doing. And, I like Raymond Lopez. It's my buddy. But right now, he's really gaslighting this situation. That's what he's doing. He's really gaslighting this situation. He is dead wrong. He is dead wrong, people. Dead wrong. Dead wrong. There's no victims. This test pilot program are for people just getting caught with a gun, not shooting the gun, really. Not really. There's no victims. No victims. All right. No victims. No victims. All right, let's get it going.
That were impacted by gun violence by someone who should never have had a gun to begin with. So as we talk about the nature of whether or not this pilot should have been brought here, the engagement that did or did not happen, we cannot forget the victims of gun violence in our communities. 3 months, 46 people that were just eligible for this pilot, not to mention the ones that were not. So keep them and their families in your prayers and top of mind as we have this conversation.
So, hold it, people. The type of people that they arrest, 46 people they arrested, are not the ones that discharging a firearm at someone or shooting a person. This is not what they're talking about at all. At all. Maybe a you devil, W, but we're going to read the article. I'm going to put the article up too as well. But I just want you to know this alderman right here, Raymond Lopez, he's not right. It's not right, people. It's not right, period. He's not right. Saying this is misinformation, people.
Here, I think that we have to temper down the rhetoric a little bit. Because sometimes folks get lost in the incorrect or inconsistent information about pilot programs. And that works people into a frenzy as though there's something nefarious going on. But we've had pilots in our communities before. We've led the city with pilots time and time again. And one of the most notable pilots that I can think of was ShotSpotter, which
is now
right
gone
here in the 7th District and became a model for the entire city. So much so that my colleague here fought for it. And though some might find it hilarious, it saved lives. It brought safety to communities. And that is what all of these pilots are designed to hopefully do, to bring safety.
Now, to be real honest, I like ShotSpotter, but the data doesn't support what he's saying. Period, people. I like the ShotSpotter. You know, I like it. I think that it probably should have been, you know, continue on, but saving money and the data doesn't back up what it really is supposed to have done. So I just had to say that. We could prove that at another show at another time. But go ahead.
Security and peace to our neighborhoods, and oftentimes get none of that. Restorative justice was a pilot. Don't forget that. And look how that has been working. We've heard it advocated today.
Now, if you read in the article, if you read an article, I read an article said that they wanted to not send people to restorative justice no more. That's almost like a court of, I would call it social service agency, where if you are first-time offense, if you qualify for that, they'll wipe it off your record, and you work with the, work with restorative justice. So the attorney said, that assistant attorney, she said that there are 27 restorative justice programs. But we'll hit at it later on. But we're going to read the article as well. But I'm just trying to bring you guys up to speed, okay? All right. Now, to take in mind, to my knowledge, the aldermen that's speaking today didn't have anything to do with this, to my knowledge. And I believe I'm correct on that. All right.
Another pilot. The Veterans Court was a pilot to divert veterans from having to go through, especially when they've been dealing with self-medication and other issues in our neighborhoods.
We're going to speed it up.
Even some of the diversionary programs that are out there all started as pilots. Some of our best successes in our neighborhoods have to start somewhere. A pilot is a way to see what works, what doesn't, make tweaks, make adjustments. Were there issues with this rollout? Absolutely. Should they have consulted our community on the front end? Absolutely. Should she be here today? Absolutely.
And who he's talking about, I think Ms. Burke, the state's attorney, she should have been there speaking to the community. You put down something and you're not present, but she did send one of her assistants. So, all right, go ahead.
I'll say it. Eileen O'Neill Burke should be here today to discuss this. If she can impact us, she can explain it. That's what she gets elected to do. But I'm not wanting us to get lost in that moment, because pilots can have results that are good. And I think that, as the commander said, if you are following constitutional policing, and by the way, our first deputy is here, Yolanda Talley, of our police district. Forgive me. But if you believe that he, and the entire district is gravitating towards constitutional policing in the way that we all want it, then you have to trust them in this moment when you have, as the commander said, 3 rules for this to work, and they're following all the rules. And at some point, you have to say, great work, thank you for doing it the right way for our communities. And that's what cannot be lost in this conversation today. And as we hear from the state's attorney's office and hear from community about the impact of what this was that started here without us, let's see if this is something that we can tweak to make sure it continues, if it is actually delivering. Because I'm curious to know and hear what happened to those 46 individuals who had unlawful possession of a weapon and impacted 46 families in.
Now hold it. Now, did you just hear him say unlawful possessions that have impacted 46 families? Now, is he talking about the victims or the ones that got arrested? Which one? Because there's no victims in these cases, with the pilot cases.
The greater Englewood community. Thank you.
So I'm just educating you guys.
I want to thank Alderman Lopez, he's my alderman, 15th Ward. And now I want to call up alderman of the 16th Ward, Stephanie Coleman.
All right, Stephanie Coleman is up.
If you have to wipe yourself raw just to get clean.
All right, I'm sorry, people. Stephanie Coleman.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I am the proud alderman of the 16th Ward, happy to be here in the 17th Ward, the other greatest ward, accompanied with the other greatest ward in the 6th Ward. Listen, thank you everyone who's here. Thank you to one of the best district councils here in the city of Chicago. President Driver, the first African-American woman to ever hold the first deputy superintendent position. That is, we appreciate you, Deputy Talley. In the 16th Ward, we have a monthly community meeting every second Saturday of the month. You know where to find us at the old Jewel Osco. Commander Court's team does a Herculean job of presenting the numbers of where we are for that month. And either the numbers aren't numbering, but Cecile.
Okay. Okay. Hold it, Stephanie. Hold it, Stephanie. Now, let me say something for those of you just tuning in, and we just got to listen to Raymond Lopez. Now the alderman or any public official or bar association were advised about this decision. So none of them. They can't possibly be following constitutional policing when you are violating a state statute. And that's real, people. That's real. That's real. CPD, you can't be. All right, go ahead, Miss Coleman. Let Stephanie do her thing. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Our gun possessions and our numbers have been much lower than historically in the past. We've had wonderful leadership with Commander Johnson, Commander Rod, Commander, now Superintendent Larry Snelling, and of course Commander Courts. And I think we share in the same sentiments that when the initiative of the first 30 days in a new position, such as the state's attorney's office, if the 7th district is targeted, certainly we must be inclusive of whatever this process is. This is why we have a community commission for public safety and accountability. This is why we have 3 representatives that we elected for this position. This is why we have one of the best commanders, Lewis Courts. And I also find it hard to believe, in Alderman Lopez, we share the 9th district, but the 9th district numbers look a little bit worse than the 7th district numbers, if I do say so myself, when it's reported in the 16th Ward community meeting. So I hope that this is a teachable moment for State's Attorney Burke's office. We will gladly welcome her to the 6th, 16th, 17th, or 20th, 15th Ward. Any day. Come on over to Englewood, don't be afraid, we're here. We have teeth, but we don't bite too hard. But we want the inclusiveness, we want community, as you can see, when the clarion call is made, that our community responses. So thank you all so much for spearheading this, Councilmember Williams, to all of you, Teresa and McGill. And thank you, Englewood, for showing excellence. I even see we have some visitors from other districts. Do we have any other? Thank you so much for being here with us. To our other district council members. All right, God bless you all, and I'm going to bring forward 6th Ward Alderman Pastor William Hall.
That's right, William Hall was there too as well.
One more time, please, Sober. She's a chairwoman of the Black
Just be
Caucus.
patient, people. We get to it, but I don't want to make no mistake. I want to get the meat of it.
David Moore and I, we have an affinity. I give him a hall pass to come to the 6th Ward, and so he didn't give me a hall pass to come here. It was none other than this great council who's doing a great job. Public service looks easy, but it's really hard. And these great men and women do a great job keeping us together. So could you clap it up for the district council as well? Come on, y'all, show them some love. This is Saturday. Yeah. And last but not least, every shield that you see is a shield that is centered on serving and protecting. And Commander Courts and First Deputy is just a sliver of the example of the great officers that cover the 7th District, the 6th Ward, and all throughout. And so can we show our love for our officers, you all? They're really some good brothers. And so in concluding, as I was just asking Anthony, what do you see? And what this moment, I believe, gives us an opportunity is to see to a future, number one, where there shouldn't be guns on the street, period. Until we can stop having access to guns illegally, then the work continues. And so to hear perspective is one thing, but to ignore a problem is another thing. And so this is both an opportunity to learn, but an opportunity to draw a line as well. And as Alderman Moore has said, if it's important, you make time for it.
Listen.
And I believe that a leadership have made time for this moment to be held accountable with a pilot that will affect you and I. And so today I'm here to listen even in her absence. And I hope that we draw a line that is fair for us, but keeps it safe for all of us. God bless y'all, I appreciate you.
All right. Okay, at this time and at this moment, we're gonna ask that Ms. Dion Victoria come up. One of the residents of the Englewood, it is known as the last time this happened.
This is a good one. Listen, people, listen to her. She's gonna bring some good numbers.
Tell us, Soundbowl, how you're feeling.
A little overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah.
Not me.
Forgive me, but
I'm perfectly whelmed.
What about yesterday's overwhelming?
By the way, you can find this video on my YouTube. Martin G. Johnson. This is my own content. I own all the rights to the content. I'll let you guys know.
You should hold it up.
Definitely hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. I need the like button and subscribe. Hit the like button.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
Listen up, people. Listen up.
Show of fingers. I'd like to get a read of the room, how everybody's feeling. 1, I feel awful. 5, I feel amazing. How we feeling? Amazing. Okay, good. Yes. Thank y'all. So I am Dion Victoria, the artist, educator, and entrepreneur from this beautiful neighborhood, living here currently. Today I want to talk to you guys about something really important.
Listen.
How the police and courts handle people who are caught with illegal guns, and what played out a long time ago when something similar happened with drugs. In Englewood, a new rule started this year. It lets police officers charge people with gun crimes without asking permission from the lawyers who usually check first.
Listen.
In just 3 months, the police filed 46 gun cases all by themselves. Now let's go back in time.
Listen up.
Paint the picture.
In 1971, a president named Richard Nixon started what he called a war on drugs. That meant the police got more power to arrest people for using or selling drugs. Also, between 1969 and 1972, the government gave money to build more jails. From $2 million, it increased to $250 million. That is a huge increase. By 2015, there were 1.3 million arrests in 1 year for drug possession.
Listen, people.
That's one arrest every 25 seconds.
My God.
And even though Black people only made up 13% of the US population, they made up 30% of drug arrests and 40% of the people in jail for drug crimes. It's just not fair. Now, people are worried that if police are allowed to charge gun crimes without someone double checking their work, the same problems could happen again. More arrests and possibly sending people to jail even when the evidence isn't strong enough.
Wow.
Too many people in jail, making the prisons crowded and very expensive to run. Unfair treatment, especially for Black and brown people who already face more arrests. Less trust between people and the police if we feel the system isn't fair. So while the idea might be to help the police work faster, we have to be careful. History shows us that when we rush, we can make big mistakes that hurts a lot of people. That's why it's super important to watch what happens next and make sure things stay fair for everyone. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much for that. This is the last time this happens. Now we'll have remarks and a presentation by Teamwork Englewood. Ms. Cecile.
These 5 feminizing foods turn even the strongest men into shriveled old fruit. Take a look at these 2 then.
All right, I'm sorry.
Let's give a round of applause.
All right now.
All right. Teamwork Englewood in the house.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Cecile DeMello. I'm the Executive Director of Teamwork Englewood. Teamwork Englewood is a community-based organization, serves Greater Englewood with different services as well as community planning. We also have a monthly meeting that discusses public safety. Teamwork Englewood also hires from within the Greater Englewood community. We have a significant of Black men that work at Teamwork Englewood that lived, born, and raised in Greater Englewood and was also impacted by the criminal justice system. I'm going to be sharing some of their words and what I'm sharing today as well. I also want to say something that I think is important. The rhetoric around policing and criminal activity sometimes goes, oh, we all want the same thing, but I want to be very clear. I live in Englewood. I work on 63rd and Halston, take Halston down to my house. My home experiences gunfire regularly, and I'm not here saying that we should be doing over-policing strategies, although I really want to save community because I raised my family here.
Come on.
In addition, violence reduction, as Alderwoman Coleman shared, has been showing some progress, and that is because Englewood is very collaborative. We have created spaces for convening, problem solving, and research, data collection and review, and the implementation of programming where we see it necessary. And we've worked with commander courts and elected officials here and aldermen around this strategy. And this is part of why this is problematic for us, right? We do things, again, in collaboration.
Now, hold it right there. Now, she's telling us that they do things in collaboration. Okay, what she mean is they all work together. You got the police council people there that they are elected officials for that position. It's 3 of them on the board, and all of them get together. They work with the commander of the district, and they do things together and make decisions together. So that's what she's letting you know. But in this case, the state's attorney didn't include. We always been taught, if you ain't sitting at the table, that means you on the menu. All right, go ahead, my sister.
Looking at data and uplifting community wisdom. The recent decision to bypass the felony review for certain gun possession charges is along the line of the federal rhetoric around law and order. And as we know, this impacts Black communities, it will impact Englewood, it will impact Black men. Residents of Greater Englewood kind of see through this strategy, and that's why we have this space today, and I'm thankful for District Council to have this, because we've seen this playbook before, as Sister Dion shared, and the expanded police power and reduced oversight, again, has a disproportionate impact on Black men specifically. This feels like racial targeting, it feels like reduced accountability. And the weight of the system, the criminal court system as well, is another impact that we have to look through. And this is why I love Brother Dion's point about the restorative justice court. People lose their jobs when they're sitting. right? People lose employment, lose stability in their family, and we've seen this in Teamwork Englewood's reentry work, which is why we are a proponent of making sure we do things that doesn't have people in the criminal court system, especially when there wasn't a victim. We cannot. In addition to the clogging of the court system, sometimes with questionable cases, we don't have a lot of legal representation here in Greater Englewood, which is why legal clinics not in this community are problematic, and we have to continue to support with resources for legal clinics like the work we do at Teamwork Englewood. We created a legal clinic because there's not enough legal resources or representation for residents to have when they are over-policed. But the last of my comments are going to be focused on the Restorative Justice Court, because this is an important part of the timeline of how we got to today's point. Earlier this year, in addition to the pilot being brought up, the Restorative Justice Court has extreme success with gun cases. Extreme success with gun cases. The recidivism rate for those who go through the Restorative Justice Court system here in Greater Englewood is 13%. And the criminal court system is 65%. I brought the report if people want to review it. So when we see a program that is proactive, that brings resources like case management, two of Teamwork Englewood's team members, Mark Mitchell, our Associate Director of Reentry Services, as well as Michael Tidmore, who does court work with Marlo. I see you in the back. This court, although a pilot, Alderman Lopez, was also co-developed with community for years. Co-developed with community for years, with partners at the table, building the case management, the referral services, and the mentoring and coaching. This is why it's effective. So when gun cases were no longer allowed to come to the Restorative Justice Court because of the state's attorney policy, this is part of the problematic part that we come to at this point. This is where things feel intentional. This is where we feel community wisdom is not being supported and best practice is not being utilized. So my closing point about best practices is the community engagement work, community participation, and co-design that allows us to do good public safety and violence prevention work. This is the way we have to do work in Englewood, and if it isn't done, co-design with the people at the table, the data, the community wisdom, and the promising best practices like Restorative Justice Court, then we can't have it. My point again to the Restorative Justice Court, in addition to the call out that this needs to be repealed, we also need gun cases back in the Restorative Justice Courts, where we have been changing lives and effectively having people move away from gun possession to changing and improving their lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful people. All right, boss lady.
Before we continue, anyone else who have questions, I want you guys, Rosa, raise your hand.
Rosa, can you come over here so they can see you?
Tongue twister. Raise your hand. Please give your questions over to Rosa, and then that'll be our next portion as part of the public comments. With that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to our chair.
Thank you, Councilman. So at this time, we're going to have remarks by Yvette Lozon. She's the Chief of Policy for the Cook County State's Attorney's Office.
All right, now.
There's one guitar pattern that's not talked about on YouTube, and none of the pros will tell you about it. But they.
Sorry about the Now, one of the co-state's attorneys that came up with this idea.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Yvette Lozon. I am the Chief of Policy for the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. I know everybody wants to see Eileen O'Neill Burke here today. Unfortunately, you got the B team, but I will do my best. So, first of all, I want to say thank you to the district counselors for including the State's Attorney's Office in this event. I'm happy to be here. I hope as time goes on that you all will invite us back. It's been a good education for me as I sat here for the first part of this, to hear from all of the different groups in Englewood, and I'm happy to see how committed you all are to collaboration. We are committed to collaborating too. So I think I'm just gonna kind of start at the beginning and talk a little bit about the felony review process. So in Cook County, we have the felony review system, which gives assistant state's attorneys an opportunity to review felony cases that are called in by law enforcement. That's not just the Chicago Police Department, it's law enforcement all over Cook County. Cases that come through felony review, it's not a one-size-fits-all event. Cases that come through are prioritized in different ways. So for example, when the Chicago Police Department comes in with their homicide detectives, because they have put together a homicide case, and they call felony review, and they say, we have a homicide, we have victims here, we have witnesses here, we have cameras, we have an offender in custody. That prompts the Cook County Felony Review Unit to send an assistant state's attorney out to the area. And the state's attorney will travel there, they will be in the area, they will be working alongside the police, they will be personally there to interview the victims. They will be personally there to interview the witnesses. They will be personally there to watch the body cam and the pod cam and the green cam and all of it. They're in there, they're working alongside the police. That doesn't happen in every single case. In lower level gun cases, lower level...
Now, hold it, people. Now, this decision was made intentionally not to include anyone else because she knew that it would have been rejected. They knew it, as well as should be. It said, due to the process and equal protection under the can never be compromised, people. Can never be compromised. They knew it. That's why they didn't bring this to the community, because they knew right away it was going to be rejected. Again, if you're not sitting at the table, you are on the menu. Remember that, black people. Yes, I said it, black people. Let's carry on.
Felonies across the board, that doesn't happen at all.
Listen.
Not just since Eileen O'Neill Burke took over. That has been the way felony review has been run as long as I've known about it. I've been a lawyer for 24 years. I was a state's attorney for roughly 14 years before I left and recently came back. That has never changed. That's the way felony review works. We decided after, when the Cook County State's Attorney was elected, we took office on December 2nd of 2024. When we took office on December 2nd, 2024, one of our major priorities was rebuilding our relationships with law enforcement, and particularly the Chicago Police Department. And so we started having meetings with the command staff of the Chicago Police Department, Superintendent Snelling, and all of his command staff. In the course of those meetings, one of the first things that they wanted to talk to us about is the problem.
Hold it right there. Hold it right there. She never said no one in Englewood, even the council that's there. Now, the council, they are elected to monitor some of the things that the police officer do, the bridge to keep the communication going. Now, you heard Stephanie Coleman say, in her own words, that they work with the commander and everything. They meet, they work with the police. Alderman David Moore said he support the police. They work with the police in the 7th district. But here it is. Like my brother told me, Mark Wallace, this was intentional, people. And they knew if they invited the communities, restorative justice, teamwork Englewood, I call it the White Hat Brothers, and all the community, this would have been rejected. But go ahead.
Problems that police were having with felony review.
Listen.
Here is the source of the problem. When there is a violent crime and it requires an assistant state's attorney to go out to the district like I just described, that happens. And it happens pretty rapidly because we prioritize those cases on felony review, and we make sure our ASAs get out the door and get to the district so they can talk to witnesses and talk to victims and nail down those cases. In cases like the 3 felony possession, gun possession charges that we're talking about here, we don't do that.
See?
Those are what we call phone cases. And that means that a law enforcement officer calls felony review and they say, we have a unlawful possession of weapon by a felon, or we have an aggravated unlawful possession of a weapon, or we have an unlawful possession of a weapon because there's no FOID or no CCL.
Now notice right there, Raymond Lopez said that they had 46 cases, and that means 46 families have been affected. See, now she's talking about, she just told, now notice, she haven't said anything about no victims. No victims. I just want y'all to pay attention. That's it. We looking at this video now. We winding down now, people. Listen up.
And those are low-level felonies. They're either a class 4 or class 3, depending on the circumstances of the case, and those are the lower classes, right? So in those circumstances, a felony review ASA is talking to an officer on the phone. The officer is recounting the events as they occurred. The ASA is listening and putting data into the system, and then the ASA will approve that charge.
Okay, when she say that, she means the state's attorney. Okay, go ahead.
Over the phone. There's no interviewing witnesses. There's no going to the police station. There's no interviewing the offender. There's none of that. It's a phone call. Those cases are prioritized very, very low in the process because it's important to us that we send our people out to work alongside the police for violent crimes. What happens?
Now hold it. She nailed it right there. Violent crimes. She's not saying that if you get caught with a gun, that's a violent crime or anything. So the serious violent crimes, a homicide or shooting, something like that, hey, they getting the SAs out there, state's attorneys out there. But if you just get caught with a gun and there's no victim or anything, they consider that's a lower level felony. All right.
And this is an unfortunate inefficiency on our side as state's attorneys. It's even more unfortunate for the police. What happens is that if a police officer makes an arrest for one of 3 felony charges, and I want to emphasize right now for everybody, this is not all felonies. It is not all felony gun cases. It is 3 low-level felonies that are possession cases. That means the individual did not use the gun.
See?
There are no victims.
See?
It is an unlawful possession.
Now, didn't y'all just hear Raymond Lopez say 46, they had 46 cases and 46 families been affected? Didn't you hear that? See, you see how misinformation is? People, we have to think, we have to listen, we have to be sharp. The scripture said iron sharpens iron, but go ahead.
That's it. In those 3 categories of cases, a police officer can routinely wait 6, 8, 10 hours to get a state's attorney on the phone.
Okay.
While they are doing that, they cannot go back on the street and patrol. So going back to our collaboration with Superintendent Snelling and his command staff, Superintendent Snelling's complaint for us was if our officers make one of these low-level gun arrests, they are in the house, not patrolling the street.
Hold it, I got a comment. Somebody just checked me. It said due process and equal protection under the law could never be compromised, no matter what, low level or not. You can't violate the law, period. We'll go a little bit more detail there. Go ahead.
He always tells me a car is down for 6 or 8 hours. That is that officer's entire tour of duty. They are not on the street. They are in the house waiting to make a phone call that felony review will answer. On the felony review side of the house, those cases are our very, very last priority because we are out there working on cases that involve victims and witnesses.
Now hold it right there. Hold it. First of all cases should be a priority. All right? You're not dealing with animals, you're dealing with human beings. Regardless, if the police arrest somebody illegally that don't have a gun, don't have a gun license, and they take them to jail and they got to sit and wait for 6 and 8 hours on the SA, the state's attorney. That sounds like an internal problem. That's what that sounds like. That sounds like police need to hire more police, or maybe the state's attorney need to be in the office at the police station. That's what it sounds like to me. You're dealing with people's lives. Real talk. Let's go back.
And it's incredibly important for us to do that and do it expediently, because if we don't get our ASAs out there to manage those cases, we are traumatizing our victims because they're sitting in the police station.
Hold it. Now listen what she just said. We're traumatizing our victims. Now you just said in your own words, people, that these are lower level case felonies, right? And there's no victims. That's what she just said. Now, if we're talking about, aren't we talking about these lower level felonies? Come on now. If they arrest someone and it takes you guys, the state's attorney, SAA, whatever you call SAS, whatever, to get to the police officer, accept their call, and take 6 to 8 hours, and you short a car on the street. That sounds like a police problem, internal problem. That's what it sounds like to me.
For hours and hours and hours waiting for felony review ASAs to come. Or we're losing our witnesses, which is making it harder and harder and harder for detectives in the areas to actually solve crimes and close. Hold it.
Now your witnesses. Come on now, people. Come on, y'all. It's game. But go ahead, y'all. Come on.
Cases. I hear your frustration on the fact that community wasn't asked about this process. Yes. I will tell you that we came in the door on December 2nd. Mm-hmm. This was the first complaint that we heard from CPD. And I spent all of December crafting a protocol alongside with my partners in the state's attorney's office and my partners at CPD to create a system where we could get officers back out on the street to answer 911 calls. That was the impetus of the—
Hold it. Listen, people. This is not about putting officers back on the street so they can answer more 911 calls. We're dealing with people's lives when you arrest them. That's what we're dealing with. This is about locking up folks and putting that's what it is. It seems to me that assistant state's attorney, what you call it, the ASA, y'all need hire some more folks down there. That's what it sounds like. That's the internal problem. So you're going to push that problem on us, justifying this old bogus pilot program that's in the Black community. Englewood is 91% Black. All right, let's go. Get back to it.
The pilot program, that's what we worked hard and fast to achieve. And the goal—
You work hard and fast to achieve it without the community. And what's the goal? Let's listen to this goal, people.
Was not over-policing. The goal was not giving police complete autonomy so they could do whatever they wanted. The goal was making sure that Chicago police officers in areas where 911 calls come in a lot could get back on the street to answer them.
Well, listen, so who fault is that? The Chicago police don't have enough police to answer the 911 calls. So you're going to mess up the Constitution, bypass what the law is, and do what you want to do in the Black community. My. It's not right, people.
That was certainly Superintendent Snelling's goal. It was certainly the state's attorney's goal. I will tell you it was my goal. I spent most of December in the 7th District training Chicago police officers alongside the supervisor and deputy supervisor of our felony review unit on how to implement this pilot program, follow the law, and do it correctly. So I want to just make a couple more points and a couple things clear. First and foremost, this does not, felony review bypass does not mean that a prosecutor does not review the case.
Now listen.
Felony review bypass is not prosecutor review bypass. It's not that at all. I'm going to explain the process to you so you understand exactly how it happens. But the only difference from what we have always done here is that we do it a little bit later. So one thing I want to make sure that we're all on the same page with is that felony review is something that's very unique to the state of Illinois. And I understand when I hear people say this is a due process problem, this makes me worry that people aren't getting due process. I hear you. I want you to understand that nowhere else in the country, other than Illinois and a couple other states, is there even a thing called felony review. It's not a requirement under the law, and it doesn't impact due process in the way that one would normally think of it. Felony review is specific to Cook County.
Now, hold it. Let me just hold it right there. Do you guys know that Cook County is the #1 false confession state? The police, they coerce people into lying, saying that they committed a crime. And we see it all the time. A man was in jail for 20 years, 30 years. We see it all the time. Had to be released. Come on now. Come on, people. Why would we turn over power to the police like that? No. So they want to hold court on the street in a sense, huh? They want to be judge, jury, and executioner, huh? You're already killing black folks, unarmed black people.
Because it was something that was historically implemented. Across the state of Illinois, there are some state's attorney's offices that do felony review. Most of them don't. So felony review is not a requirement under the law. For the last 2 decades at least, under every administration in the state's attorney's office for the last 2 decades, felony review has been bypassed in narcotics cases. It still is to this day. It was in the last administration, it was in the administration before. In most narcotics cases, police officers never call felony review. They never have, and that's never been implemented. So while this may seem like a very new...
Now, y'all remember when the young lady came up and she had that poster, right? Y'all remember that? She talked about the war on drugs, how they did it, how they still doing it with drugs, bypassing the felony review. They charging folks, which is illegal. Now they want to do it with guns. It's the same thing, people, when drugs was so plentiful, which they still are. They sent a lot of black people to jail. They put them in the community. We know drugs are not made in the black community, but somehow they seem to find the drugs when they are in our possession, on our streets. But they can't stop the planes. They can't stop the boats and the illegal bringing drugs in this country. Go ahead.
New thing that's getting imposed upon you. This is something that has gone on in the past in other types of cases, and to the point that was made, I'm sorry, I wrote that down your name because you were so wonderful in your education, Miss Victoria. To the point that was made, that was not always a great idea. So I'm going to tell you the things that we've done to be careful. I think that was the word that Miss Victoria used, and she's ready. Can I keep explaining?
Go ahead.
Yeah, just for a few more minutes because we're at time. So we're at 1:15 right now. We have these public.
Well, I think, okay, so I'll talk.
We're doing good.
I'm going to talk a lot faster.
No. Okay. I need to be clear and understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me tell you the things that we did to be careful.
Listen.
We created a protocol for how felony review bypass was going to work in the 7th District. And just so we all know, the 7th District was chosen through collaboration with the Chicago Police Department because Chicago Police Department believed that the 7th District would be a district that had a really strong commander. So congratulations to you, Commander Courts. Had a really strong commander that would actually make sure that the bypass protocol was followed to the letter. That was one of the reasons for the decision. The other reason for the decision is that because there are, unfortunately, a lot of gun cases in the 7th District, cars are down in the 7th District a lot, waiting for felony review.
That sounds like a problem. The police need to hire more policemen to patrol Englewood, if that's the case. If the cars are down. That's not the citizens' problem.
When that decision was made, we put together a protocol. The protocol said this. Number one, it was only going to apply to 3 charges. Number 2, it couldn't apply in any case where the body-worn camera was not on during the event. The third thing is it could not apply unless it was a clear-cut case of possession. So I'm going to give you an example that I gave police officers when I was training. If you have 4 individuals in a car and the gun is somewhere on the floor bouncing around the car, that's not a bypass case because you don't know who actually possessed that weapon. You have to do a lot more investigation, and that involves a state's attorney having to review it. If it's a case where there's a stop and it's one person who has a gun in their pocket unlawfully, that's a clear cut.
Now hold it right there. Now Raymond Lopez said the victims. See, you know, I like Raymond, but Raymond Lopez is misinformed about this, or he's gaslighting.
Case, and if it's on body camera, it can go through bypass. So we put in a bunch of restrictions of what that would look like. Then we decided that we had to train. So initially, I trained the entire command staff in the 7th District. After I trained the command staff, the head of felony review, along with her deputy, along with me, went to the 7th District for every single roll call. I was actually there on New Year's Eve, and my family was waiting for me to get done so we could go to dinner. We trained every single roll call before January 1st. And in that training, we taught officers about the 3 charges. We taught them about the elements of the offense. We refreshed their prior training on what's an appropriate 4th Amendment stop, what's an appropriate seizure. We gave them scenarios and examples of what would be a proper bypass case and what wouldn't be a proper bypass case. And we told them again and again and again and again, if you have a question about anything, call felony review. We took that so seriously that we actually made the people who are on felony review right now, the ASAs assigned to felony review, they were required to go to the training too. So when I walked into felony review bypass training in the 7th District, 12 different times in the month of December, every time I saw some assistant state's attorney.
They preparing to lock y'all black folks up. Listen, they got a plan together. She collaborating with the police, but she ain't collaborating with that little council sitting right here, Brother Joseph and them, because they knew we was going to reject that. Brother, this is all about numbers, convictions and numbers. That's what it's all about. All right.
Attorneys in the room getting trained alongside the Chicago police officers so that not only did the police know what was appropriate and required of them, but our ASAs knew that if a 7th District officer called and said, I have a question about a gun case, I want to make sure this is clear for bypass, they could do that. Here's what happens when an officer decides to do a bypass. Once that officer makes that decision, they are required to tender their reports and their body cam to the watch operations lieutenant in the district. The watch operations lieutenant reviews the reports, reviews the body cam, and makes sure that under their estimation, that case is appropriate for bypass. Bypass, again, does not mean that no state's attorney reviews this case until someone goes to jail. Here's what happens next. Unless if a person is getting a cite and release where they don't have to go to first appearance court, once that case goes to first appearance court, that's the first time a prosecutor touches it. That's usually within 24 hours. It has to be within 48. An ASA and first appearance court will take a look.
Hey, my buddy Mark Wallace said that's not collaboration with the Chicago Police Department. That's collusion. He said you cannot train a police officer to do something that requires a licensed attorney to do according to the law. Mark Wallace said that. He just texted me that. Again, let me read it again. That's not collaboration with the Chicago Police Department. That's collusion. Also, he said, you cannot train a police officer to do something that requires a licensed attorney to do according to the law.
Look at the police reports. They will review them. They have to, because they have to make a presentation to the judge. If that ASA sees nothing wrong, that case then advances for either a preliminary hearing or an indictment. Preliminary hearing or indictment is this next step in the legal process that permits you to do formal charging. When a case goes to a preliminary hearing courtroom, and from the 7th District, it'll go to Branch 38, an ASA in the preliminary hearing courtroom will review the body cam, they will review the police report, and they will make sure that it is appropriate to present that case to a judge. A judge will then hear testimony from a police officer, and it is only then that that case is formally charged. So, again, police are not calling felony review the minute they get someone in custody, but within 48 hours at a max, an ASA is reviewing that case, and then it's getting reviewed again prior to it ever going in front of a judge for a preliminary hearing. If it gets indicted instead of going for a preliminary hearing, all of that evidence in that case is going to be presented to the Cook County grand jury by the state's attorney who has reviewed the case and has made a determination that it's appropriate for indictment before formal charges are ever filed. That's how the process works. So far, there have only been 46 cases that have gone through from the 7th District. That might seem like a big number. I actually feel like that number demonstrates success because that number tells me that police officers aren't putting any case they want through bypass. They're being discriminate in making that decision. Out of those 46 cases, about 30 of them have reached the point where they have either had a preliminary hearing or an indictment. All 30 of them have survived the judicial scrutiny of a judge at prelim and or the scrutiny of the grand jury at indictment. We are tracking each of those cases. I check the tracker every single day. I have a conversation with the chief of patrol about the information on the tracker almost every single day. And we are also tracking if those cases result in motion practice, which means someone's making an allegation that they were wrongfully arrested or wrongfully charged. We're tracking that. And then we will track those cases through to disposition. So are they getting thrown out by the court? Are they getting, are there convictions? Are there not? The reason why we're doing all that tracking is because this is a pilot and we need to figure out if it's working or it's not working. In the first 3 months, we have no reason to believe that it is not working appropriately because thus far, when these cases are reviewed, the body cam footage demonstrates that the officer's police report is consistent and it's appropriate for charging. That was the impetus for expanding the pilot program. So I hope that's a good overview for all of you of the process. I know I've talked a long time, but it's a long process. I will say, again, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. I know you have a lot of questions about RJCCs. I don't have time to answer them now, but please invite me back and I'll be glad to do that as well.
With motion arrays, easy-to-use motion graphics, you can enjoy the creative process.
Touch on a minute while the restorative justice court is gone. Can you touch on that for a second?
It's up to you guys.
Yes, please.
I'm happy to talk about it.
Please, just touch on it for a second. Why you got it? That's why we
Sure. So we didn't get rid of the restorative justice courtrooms. That's actually not accurate. They're not gone. What we did is we decided we weren't going to put gun cases in the restorative justice courtrooms because restorative justice courtrooms employ a peace circle victim-centric model. And the gun cases that were going in the restorative justice programs don't involve victims. It was our goal to stop flooding those courtrooms with gun cases because we wanted to bring cases in there that actually involve victims. It appropriately fits the model. We are working now to expand the restorative justice programs by increasing the geography and the age limit of the people who can go in there so we can put more victim-centered crimes into the restorative justice programs. We also advanced legislation in Springfield that would help individuals who are first-time gun offenders who are appropriate for the RJCCs to make sure that when if they get arrested as a first-time gun offender and they go into a first-time offenders program, that they could actually apply for their FOID card while they're in that program. So when they get out of the program, they have their FOID card in their hand and they don't run risk of reoffending. I'm super excited to tell you that in the last 2 weeks, I have driven back and forth to Springfield twice to testify on that legislation, and it has passed the House committee, it's passed the Senate committee. So the goal is that once that legislation passes, instead of individuals going to the RJCCs, which cover certain communities in the city of Chicago, there's one in the suburbs, that would be a program.
Let me just say something. Somebody just said the way these young people are running around here committing crimes and they don't know if this is good or bad. This is bad. The same way how they flooded our community with drugs. And I lived through that. Now they're flooding our community with guns. Parents, some of you guys out there need to know what your sons and daughters are involved in. Where are they getting these guns from? You're not working. You living in low income. They walk around here with a submachine gun. Worry about that.
Across the state, and we can divert individuals who possess gun cases into restorative justice programs that will assist them in learning about gun safety and obtaining their FOID card with the legislation that's going to pass next week in Springfield.
Come on, y'all. Come on.
We have additional ideas on how we can make our JCCs more expansive. Like felony review isn't a one-size-fits-all. We don't want the RJCCs to be one-size-fits-all. And it's our opinion that there should be restorative justice for individuals who are charged with gun crimes, but there should be different models based on the type of crime. I understand that the RJCC recidivism rates are very low, and I'm really happy to see that. Mm-hmm. But it was our estimation that we were not putting people in those RJCCs who were truly committing victim crimes and getting that kind of support from the community. If we are able to modify the RJCC program, we can put more first-time gun offenders in the RJCCs. They can still get their wraparound services and all the things that the RJCCs offer, but they will, once this legislation is passed, they will leave the RJCC program, hopefully with their FOID card in their hand, so they never come back into the system, and that's the goal.
You said you could do
and you, right, so I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Cecile.
You don't have to stop anything to wait for something else to start. You can do both. The cases shouldn't be stopped.
Thank you.
So I hear you, and I'll tell you that the reason why we stopped putting the gun cases in there, recognizing that you're right, we can do both, but the reason we stopped.
Okay, hold it. Mark Wallace said, he said, watch her talk about 30 cases that met the court approval. She did talk about that. The 16 cases, which are 35% failure. 35% failure demonstrates it's not working, people. Not, yeah. So It's not working. So, no, Mark said NPT working, not working, period. So, people, lawyers get paid to talk. And if you don't know the language, they'll talk right over your head. It's like a politician. They will spin you and spin you, period.
Putting them in there is because we needed to do an internal assessment of other types of cases that could more appropriately go into the RJCCs. We have 27 restorative justice programs that are run through Cook County and through the state's attorney's office at this time. We walked into the office on December 2nd. I'm still learning what all 27 of them are. I'm looking at Anthony over there, who is my friend, who will attest that I do work 20 of the 24 hours of the day. I'm not quite there yet, but we're trying. We are not a state's attorney's office that is turning their back on restorative justice. In fact, we're trying to pass legislation to make it more impactful, and we believe in it, but we're 3 and some change months in.
But you believe in it, but you stopped it. You stopped sending people to that. How do you believe in something and you stop sending people to it? They looking for convictions, people. They trying to up the numbers up. And most of those numbers will affect the Black community. Period, people.
And we're still learning. And we're still learning community engagement. So I appreciate being here with all of you today. Hopefully we'll get the hang of that and do a better job going forward. And you know, I appreciate your patience with us as we do it.
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space?
Right.
Enter your address and get a 360-degree satellite view of your home.
All right.
Thank you so much.
These comments. They're going to real people.
I'm going to be really brief, and then I'm going to pass it back over to our chair to open it up for public comments. And she will explain that as public comments going to be 2 minutes per person. With that being said, I'm sorry?
It's always like this.
Yeah. With that being said, for our chief of policy over at the state's attorney's office, Ms. Yvette. Yes, I'm sorry, yeah. So I just got a quick one for you real quick. No, it's okay. So with this new pilot program,
it is
you've seen it so far be successful. Do you not think that this pilot program needs a third-party oversight?
So there's never been third-party oversight over any interaction with the Chicago Police Department in felony review. And so that would be a new concept for us. We don't have a consent decree like the Chicago Police Department, so we don't have third-party oversight over our work. And again, if this were a situation where there was no prosecutorial review, I think we'd be in a different set of circumstances. But this is prosecutorial review at a different stage in the process.
Okay, and then our last one was just those stipulations and some of those gray areas that you talked about, far as I know you talked about if the body camera is not on, then obviously that's not something that
they can't go through
bypass. And then there's probably some other things. Is there a way to retrieve that or get that information out to the public so people actually know exactly what is it that kind of counts if you're going to be able to bypass a lot? Because that's stuff that we still trying to figure out and don't really know the answer to that.
Sure. So we have a written protocol. It's FOIA-able. FOIA it. I'm happy to put it out there. At some point, I think we will be putting these things on our website. Our website is still getting put together. But other people have FOIA'd the protocol and we've sent it out, so you're most welcome to do that and you will get it.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you for that. All right, so now we're going to start our public comments section.
You guys are done with me? I can.
We're done with you.
Stick around for a few minutes.
Yeah, just stick around. Those who can't.
Listen to this.
Patricia Williams, can you come up, please?
We're almost done. I'm going to live on the cut on that end.
And you can use this microphone, but it's right there.
We're almost done, people. We're almost done. We're almost done.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
My question is, why are these victims? and also who authorized it to be in our district, because our district, you know, it ain't so much as the program, but we worried about our black and brown men. If the police gonna stop them, if they're gonna be fair, if they're not gonna be fair. Yeah, you got cameras, but some of them know how to turn the cameras off. We ain't against police, but we against brutality, we against them wrongfully convicting them, and it's been going on for years. You know, I lived in Englewood all my life. I was born and raised in Englewood and on the low end. And I know how Chicago works. I'm like 62 years old today. You know, I've been stopped by the police. My son got autism. And when he gets stopped by the police, I have to tell him, just don't get smart with him. Let him know you got autism. You know, and he got stopped many a times around here. I said, but, you know, let him know you just going to the store. But, you know, he's scared. He stay in the house because things be happening in our neighborhoods. We ain't calling all police bad because we need them, but still, it's this time for us to get a grip on treating men, you know, our black and brown men like they just
hold it. She put up there, not her, in the comments, my children not running around with guns. You don't know what your children run around doing. You're not around them 24 hours. What about your little nephews and nieces that probably live in low-income areas that you don't speak to, that you turn your nose up at, or you look the other way? Come on now. It may not affect your children directly. Maybe your nephews, maybe your nieces. You never know.
There's got to be better programs than just stopping and frisking and putting felony charges on. There's got to be something that will help them to go further. You know, because people do things because they feel like they don't have no choice to do things, to stick up, to rob, to do this and other, because they feel like they don't have no outlet, nowhere to go. So yes, we are concerned about our Englewood. We are concerned about our young men in Englewood. We are concerned about men all over, period, in Chicago, but you know, when y'all spring something on us before we know anything about it, at least we could have had a say-so, at least we could have voted on it, at least we could have had a better understanding. And maybe some of us perhaps wouldn't have came here angry, because I was angry when I first came here. I was really angry because I didn't know what it was about. And I know I got a son and I got grandsons. And I got a bunch of nieces and nephews, boys, a bunch of boys, you know, in my family. So I'm very, very concerned about this.
Next we call Brenda Watson. When you come up, please state your name. Brenda Watson. Last call.
These are the healthy smiles of Real Delta Dental members. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable plans that meet your needs.
You were hired to be a maintenance manager, but everyone knows you as a problem solver, and you know who to call to help keep your operation.
If you want to go back to this video, it's on my page.
Gabriel Miller.
Go page, this video alone. R.G. Johnson on YouTube.
Hi everyone, my name is Gabriel Miller. I'm a member of the Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. I'm a member of the 14th District, and we're actually having our district council meeting today as well, but I wanted to be here to represent our organization because, as you know, any pilot program has the potential to affect all of Chicago, and in this case, all of Cook County. I think it's really important to establish the history that the state's attorney's office and the police department in Chicago have with our communities. And I'm wondering if you, Commander, are aware that Chicago is the police torture and wrongful conviction capital of the United States. Did you know that?
It's not for you to direct at him. You got comments, not comments.
It's not a Q&A.
Okay. So Chicago is the wrongful conviction capital of the United States, and that's because of a web of corruption that stems from CPD to the state's attorney's office, where we have state's attorneys who were married to members of CPD, detectives who have dozens of cases of wrongful conviction in post-conviction proceedings, people who are fighting tooth and nail to get out of prison from having been wrongful convicted by officers that are still on the force. And so when we have a state's attorney's office that ran on reversing, Eileen Burke ran on reversing everything that Kim Foxx had done to free people. And she started, got started by dropping the charges on Patrick O'Donnell, someone who beat up an Arab youth in Oak Lawn. So we know what the state's attorney's office is trying to do, and when they come in and bypass the directly elected body that was created so that the communities could hold the police accountable, so the communities could have a say, we know that that's not right. And we know that this is an opportunity for us to engage with these structures, fight back, and make sure that our voices are heard. We're here to say all power to the people, and we got to keep fighting to hold the police accountable. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. Next we'll have Jermaine Kelly. Jermaine Kelly.
I like what this brother said.
How y'all beautiful people doing today? All is well. How y'all doing? My name is Jermaine Kelly. I'm a 6th Ward resident. I'm also with the organization MASS, Mothers and Men Against Senseless Killings. Quick couple things. One, I think this legislation is very dangerous for both parties. Even for y'all that's out there to protect and serve us. When people feel like their due process is going to be bypassed, they're going to react in a very harsher way. So the normal interaction goes from here to here, and we want to better police engagement. We engage, at least on our corner, we engage with the police officers that engage with us. So it's not that our area has lack of engagement with y'all. I just think when we hear things like this does more harm than it does good for us all together. And listening to you explain it seems more like an inside problem than our problem. Yes. It seems like y'all need to do some more hiring for the people that's going to handle those calls on a smaller level. As you said, they get pushed down. Somebody needs to be hired to check those ones that get pushed down. Because that's 40 families that are victimless crimes that was affected by that. So that means that's just 40 possessions.
Affected by it.
So that means their family was impacted, and like y'all said so eloquently, if you spend one day in jail, your whole life can be changed.
On, man. That's right.
So with that being said, that's all I gotta say, and I really think y'all need to reserve this, and y'all need to put gun crimes back in restorative justice. I caught a gun charge very early in my life, and I wish a program like restorative justice was around. My whole life probably would have been different.
Come on.
So respectfully, I end my time, and thank y'all all for coming out, and I love to see everybody in the community that's worried about what's going on in our community. And I come up here as one of the young folks to show y'all, even the older generation, that we can. That's right.
All right. Mark Wallace, he said another great, interesting thing. He said, this is the way to fast track another pipeline to prison. Whenever the numbers go down, they always lower the bar to get more people into the system. Just like the speed cameras. When the revenue was going down, they lowered the threshold so they can get more violations to raise more money. It's the exact same thing. Convictions are going down, so they lower the bar to get more people in the system. Great, Mark. Great, Mark Wallace. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for that. Now I'm going to call Mark Wallace.
This is Mark Wallace, y'all. He was there too.
Please state your name.
Yeah, the CEO, go ahead.
My name is Mark Wallace. I'm the Executive Director of Citizens to Abolish Red Light Cameras and 10 by 10 to Win. I'm also the host of the podcast, The People Show, formerly on WVON, 1690 AM. I fundamentally reject this premise, and I listen to...
If crypto taxes feel like mountains to climb, meet CoinTracker, the simplest way to tackle tax season.
Watch what eggs do to your brain. Take a look at these two brain scans. They both...
the person who represents the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, and as a trained lawyer, come on, Mark, we are taught to leave information out that we don't want brought up. I'm going to put information in that was not put in.
Listen.
Even though felony review might not be legislatively by law, it is legislated that a state's attorney is the only person who can charge a person with a felony in the state of Illinois.
Come on, talk.
That information was left out. So, elections have serious consequences. We elected the wrong person. Now, let me just say, this is the person that we have to deal with. This policy was rolled out as soon as this person was elected. It was put out in an innocuous newspaper. I have spoken to 3 Cook County judges, several attorneys, black attorneys. None of them knew about this policy. There has been no conversation with the oldest black Cook County Bar Association in Illinois. It's more than 100 years old. Not a single phone call made to them about this policy. Process is important. We should never, ever compromise a person's due process for the convenience of efficiency. Under any circumstance, and any of our representatives that support this policy, we are going to track them, we're going to trace them, and we are going to replace them if they are on board with violating due process of the people of our communities and using our communities as a guinea pig.
Thank you, sir, for that.
Man.
The next person we're going to call up is Andy Williams.
I'm gonna make it my last. His brother was good too.
Please state your name.
My name's Andy Hood, candidate Williams Jr. I sure wish I had more time to teach. So I'm gonna drop it like this. I'm running for Illinois Attorney General. And I'm gonna tell you what Rule 3.8 is. This is beautiful. The state's attorney in his or her official capacity is a representative of all the people, including the defendant. And it is much as his or her duty to safeguard the constitutionally protected rights of the defendant as those as any other citizen. We are the people. We have the power. We never did this. I can't wait to talk to the attorney brother. One thing I'm gonna tell you is I'm what they label as a felon. So if you run up in my house trying to rob me, kidnap my granddaughter, rape my wife, I got the chance of going to jail because I'm gonna pop your ass. That's true, but I'm gonna go to jail for that. The Constitution, the Illinois Constitution, Section 22, says the people have the right to bear arms. Come on. You not finna get away with locking somebody up when there's never been an injured party. That's the Illinois Constitution that limits the government. That's what the Illinois Constitution do. And I ain't gonna take my whole time because I'm gonna tell you this. March 2024, I filed a lawsuit against Kim Fox. I was able to substitute Eileen Burke for Kim Fox April 3rd, 2025. They ducked in service, because see, I done sued them. I'm not running around here asking y'all to do what's right. I'm gonna get a remedy for infringing and depriving me of my rights. That's the difference. And when we get educated about our rights don't come from government, the Constitution limits government from infringing upon our rights. So these policies ain't no difference in the slave patrol or slave catcher. They got us locked up in our own community, asking permission, can we go outside? Can we protect ourselves? If you shoot somebody, you need to get corrected. But if I'm trying to hold the protection of my life, as Q would say, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Come on with it, y'all. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. And the last thing, they got a bill called State's Attorney Recall. Let's get on it. Thank you so much.
Wow, I'm gonna hold it right there, people. I'm gonna hold it right there. I mean, I appreciate you guys. My goodness. We're gonna go to my first caller. I mean, it has been. Thank you guys for your patience and those of you, make sure you tag someone in this video. Send it to this video. We need to. We need this because if it started here in Chicago in one community, this might spread all around the country, and we don't want that. And we know who it's going to affect: Black people. All right, we're going to go to our first caller, and I appreciate you guys for talking. Waiting, hold. I got one caller, so I'm going to go to this caller, see what he or she has to say. Hey, caller. Hey, caller, how you doing? This is live, uncut, unedited. This is where we tell the truth and shame the devil. What's some of your comments or your thoughts about what we witnessed today? Go ahead, 281. 281.
SUV.
Yeah. 281? If not, I'm gonna come back to him.
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on, Mark? What's going on, Mark?
What's going on? What the video? What we showed? That's what we're talking about. So if
man,
you
go ahead. You know, you got some really deep stuff going on here, man. Got some really deep stuff going on here. We don't really have a fight, a bone in this fight, because I'm not living in Chicago. I used to live there, but you know how many people have to die before we understand, Mark? We don't have no say-so in this process. We can stand up before all the people all we want to. We can stand up before all the people we want to. Malcolm X did it. Martin Luther King did it. They paid for their lives. But, you know, I hear people, activists, I hear people in the community, I hear all of that. They knocked down the projects. They said that they didn't have an agenda, but they did. They knocked down the projects to filter the people out into the city. And we know the prime areas were from 95th and the Lakefront all the way to Skokie, from Skokie all the way back to Ashland. That's prime property. We know that. So the gentrification that kicked in so people could get ran out of there. But this whole fiasco thing with the police, and this has been going on since the beginning, since we were kids. You understand? And then you had this lady that was on your show, that you were videoing. We couldn't really hear the audio that great, but we listened as best we could.
Well, all you had
she had to be a lawyer.
Well, listen. All you had to do, if you couldn't hear the audio, you could have just hung up and listened. You wanted to hold on. You didn't have to hold on. You just went to the thing. Yeah, but
we didn't want. I have several people on the phone with me now.
Okay, they could have went. But brother, they could have went to the video. That's even better. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, let me put these phones on mute because these people on. Hold on, brother. Go ahead. It could have been better. So hold on. Now, I heard you make a statement and say that we don't have a dog fight in it. We don't live there. Regardless, this is a pilot program. This can spread all across the country if we don't nip it in the bud right now. It can go all over. So that's why we're attacking it right now. Listen, I understand about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, they fought. Listen, I'm almost like this. I'd rather die trying to fight than just be quiet, be silent, and don't say anything. We have to fight. You can't just sit there and, well, this is the way it always used to be. It ain't going to never change no matter what we do. We have to keep fighting, brother.
That's the point I was trying to
No, I'm just telling you. But I don't know if there's a point, but I'm just telling you, brother to brother. We got to fight this fight, brother. This is until we close our eyes. This is a racism, oppression at its finest. Care what nobody say. They didn't send this pilot program over in Hyde Park. You know, they didn't do that. Or in Beverly. They sent it right here where 91% of Black people live. Go ahead, my brother. No disrespect to you.
When you agree that these 97 people that the amount of people that you mentioned that live here amongst us, we have a certain sense of responsibility. We have a personal responsibility that we must abide by, and that is not to break the law, do the right thing, and honor our mother and father and so on and so forth. But to say that it's fair, a lot of that stuff that's going on in the community happens at home first. And I understand that there are split families. You have a grandmother that's taking care of kids. You have a father that's taking care of kids. A mother, whatever the
I want to stop you right there, brother. Let me educate you a little bit. There's what you call social engineered. A lot of these problems that happen in the Black community are socially engineered, brother. If you put two starving lions in the cage together, what are they going to do? They're going to kill each other. They're going to fight. And when you starve any community, Black, white, brown, whatever, for resources, the right to breathe, the right to do whatever they feel to please, to get work or whatever. I shouldn't have said please, but they're going to fight. That's what it is. brother.
I get that.
No. I want you to see it. So don't. It's big. Don't just look at. We got more people, more black men in college than we have in prison. And the brother said it so clear, and I read it. He sent me a text. He said, when the crime is down, now they're trying to lower the bar so they can get more victims. See, there's a such thing as called school to prison to pipeline. And you lived through the war on drugs. You lived through it. I lived through it. It's the same playbook with the guns right now. If a person is living in a low-income community and your mother is on public assistance, no disrespect to any parent that's on public assistance, because I've been there, I understand. Where is your teenage son getting this $500 gun, this $1,000 gun, and plus ammunition? Where are they getting it from? Why is it that they can't get the resources that they need to thrive in the community, but they can get the things that don't make them thrive and send them to jail? They can get that so easily. That's by design, brother. Now, I'm not taking away accountability because they put the guns out there. That doesn't mean that you got to go take it and shoot and kill somebody with. I'm not excluding that off the table at all. I understand that, brother. But it's a man and a woman natural instinct to survive. And some people are going to do what they have to do in order to survive, not justifying crime and all that. Go ahead, brother.
I don't disagree with you, but we came here in 1519 as slaves. They freed us in 1865. We've been free slaves for 169 years.
Brother,
that we're resilient.
Brother, we was never free, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Crow, redlining. That's not free, brother. That's not free. See, I understand what you're saying, but I understand what you're saying. But let me just say this, brother. Let me just help you out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Slavery never ended. It just changed forms. Let me say that. It went into another phase.
I don't want to debate that with you.
I know.
Want to debate that with you,
Go ahead.
Martin. What I'm trying to say is that we were able to move around, to have a family, to go to school, to be able to vote. We're still fighting to do all that today. But I'm saying that to say that we can move around. It's not like we're on chains. It's not like we're in a cave. It's not, we're getting beat down. Yes, we are. But we can move around. We can go to another city. We can go to another country.
Brother,
we can do all kinds of things. Well,
that's not freedom, brother. Martin. That's not freedom, brother. Because we can move around.
Martin. I don't want to debate that.
I know. That's not freedom, brother. But let me. I'm a hold you right there. Did your buddy? You got anybody else on the phone? Did they want to say anything before I go to the next call? Go ahead. They can say.
Sure. Red, you want to say something, man?
Oh God.
I'll come back to you if you want to. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, Rick.
No, I'm good. I'm gonna make it brief. Because really, this ain't. We got our own problems where I live in, just like he does. And I feel for y'all. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start praying for you people in Chicago because I sent you a message on the chat, and I'm just like, if you can, get your family out of Chicago. They're running the same game they run in LA. They run the area down. They don't police it. Crime gets high. It's 50 square blocks in Los Angeles, California right now. 50 square blocks of homeless. The population is over 50,000. And it's almost the same in San Francisco. It's getting to be the same in Dallas, the same in Chicago, the same in Houston. The game is run the prices up in these neighborhoods, run y'all out. And if they can't run y'all out, we're going to drag y'all out with these rules and these laws. I'm sitting up listening to this white woman Mayo explain. For 45 minutes, don't got a piece of paper in her hand. She ain't got a computer. She ain't looking at her notes. This is straight off the dome. I'm sitting up here, and there's no way she can know something this complicated without even having one piece of paper in her hand to refer to her notes. Shit, I can't remember shit I got going on in my life. And she going chapter and verse on how this is going to work. This white liberal That ain't no conservative y'all looking at that man-looking thing that she's doing all his nails playing. They are, if they can't run y'all out, now they're finna drag y'all out. Now the policeman on the corner can write you up for a felony. And I told Madhouse, I'm just like, you know what? These uneducated, can't spell, can't write an affidavit, lying ass police. I wish you would. Because my lawyer, if there's so much as a period or an apostrophe out of place on your federal or your local affidavit, poof, goes your case. But the harassment, the locking you up for days because you can't make bail, that'll cause you to lose your home, your cars, your job. I understand all that. The problems y'all got over there, I'm begging y'all, if you got education, if you got a skill, get your family and get the hell out of the place that don't want you. They don't want you. It's never going to be fair. This white woman may explain for 30 minutes without one piece of paper in her hand. That means that shit coming straight out of her head. We gonna have an assistant attorney look over the paperwork. What, 250, 300 cases a day? 500 a day? Come on, man. Y'all just gonna throw shit up against the wall and see if it's sticking. If you ain't got the money to fight, you going to prison.
Period.
My brother.
Period. Okay.
How much writing on the wall does it take?
That's
for
right,
you to
bro.
say, hey, I'm gonna give up this piece of ground that don't belong to me. I'm gonna sell whatever I gotta sell. And I'm going to move myself to a different place in this country where I might have some liberty, because black folks don't have freedom. We are living under liberty. There is a difference. Freedom is God-given. Liberty is man-granted. It's a military term. It means you have freedom by permission. Don't get it confused. We are still not citizens. We are citizens by amendment, not by right. So please, I'm begging you, move your family out of this place before you get crushed like they did in LA. Before the prices get so high, now you can't work. Brother Martin, I got one thing to say. I'm gonna get off this phone. I went out to LA to make a delivery. I got lost. I went down the street and I kept noticing all I saw was vans, Suburbans, station wagons, RVs parked in front of the house on both sides of the street. And it dawned on me, if you ain't got a physical address, you can't get benefits. You can't get Medicaid, Medicare, you can't get SSI, you can't get disability, you can't get Section 8, you can't even get a job if you don't have a physical address. So what they do is charging these people to rent space in front of their house so they can have a physical address for the mailbox. That's how dirty the game is in LA, and it's been moving west to east for a long time. So this is the next thing you're going to see. You're going to start seeing people parking RVs and station wagons and vans in front of houses because they don't have a physical address, and without that, you can't get no benefit. You homeless. Now you're not even a citizen. You are unrecognized.
All right, bro.
That's all I got to say, Brother Martin.
Y'all hold on. Okay.
I'm going to pray for you folks up there.
Yes, sir.
I really am. I'm going to pray for y'all.
But you know what?
We're going to go on mute, man.
Okay.
Go on mute.
I like everything he said. The only thing I didn't like, and I strongly disagree with it, brother, a coward dies many deaths, but a soldier died one time. We got to fight, brother. Those of us may not have the means. Even those that do have the means, we got to stay and fight, brother. We have to fight. We just can't just walk up and throw our hands up and give up. Man, this is, God placed us here in the city of Chicago, in the South suburban areas. And that's what they want. They want strong men to walk away from it, throw their hands up. That's what they want. This is war. This is the art of war, brother. And if they could silence us with a woman or with jail or prison and put drugs on us, that's what they want. We have to fight, brother. We have to fight. But I that's what my comment. I need to go to the next caller. Put you guys on mute. All right. Next caller. I believe that's Marcus 9449. Marcus. I'm coming to my next callers.
Yes,
go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
Yes, Martin. I lived in Englewood pretty much all my life up until a few years. And I know this is not going to work right in Englewood.
Marcus, hold it. Let me just say something. I'm going to give a little education to my audience too. When they so-called freed us in 1965, they didn't give us no land. They didn't give us no link, no social security card, no nothing. We had to practice capitalism with no capital. But when they allowed these people to cross this border and come over to this country, they gave them resources. And we witnessing that right now in 2025. We witness in 2024. So we had to practice capitalism without no capital. Period, people. So all we had in our back, to 1865, when Lincoln so-called freed the slaves, the shirt on our back. We didn't have no land. We didn't have nothing. All we had was just us. Go ahead, Marcus. I had to throw that out there. I'm sorry. Go ahead. 1860.
Yeah, I just want to say this.
Go ahead. Take your time.
I lived in Englewood practically all my life, and I know this is not going to work. They would pull you over. They would write tickets on your car if it was parked. Even if you had everything legit, they would still put a ticket on your car. They would harass young black teenagers walking down the street. This is not going to work with these white police officers out there and some of the black police officers, just worse than the white police officers. This is horse talk that she's delivering to these people. And what happens in Englewood affects all of us, because why they ain't pick Little Village? Little Village is just as so-called violent as Englewood. Why they ain't pick none of these violent white neighborhoods that's in Chicago? We do have them. They just don't report the news that go on. Why they ain't pick Rogers Park or Wrigleyville or any of those places, Logan Square up in that area? But they pick Englewood because Englewood is in the middle. You, on a given warm day, you can walk from Englewood into downtown on a nice warm day. So they want that area, and they want to clean up that area, and they're going to bend the rules to do it. And we've always been their target. They do it in Englewood, they're going to come to Roseland, they're going to come to Auburn and Gresham and do it there. And if people think that they're not affected by it, you will be affected, because you could be driving through Englewood and have a gun on you. It ain't shot nobody, but you get pulled over by the police, and it's at the police officer's own hands what they want to do to you. It's not going to work, because Chicago police, let's face it, not all cops out there. I don't have a problem with all the cops, but there are some cops that are dirty, they are racist, and you have the drug. People talk about the drug problem, right? The gun problem. 18-wheelers pulling up in the alley with no lights on, dropping the guns off. Some of the Arabs who own businesses are bringing the guns and drugs into neighborhoods like Englewood. They took away real jobs. When I say real jobs, jobs that paid a thriving wage and a livable wage, they took those away, and you left the people with nothing. And you're right. We weren't free. We still not free.
Because this is one way you know we ain't free. If we were so free, why would they have to make a civil rights bill? Why did they have to make for voting rights? Why would they have to do that? Why would they have to do that if we was free? If everything was equal, as they say. But guess what? We pay taxes, and we still not included in making decisions. People, again, let me just say this. There's not one real resource such as water, land, electricity, food, making the police department, the education department, the health system. We don't own or control none of that. None of it. Martin, you sound a little harsh tonight. But I got to tell the truth and shame the devil. The brother Mark Wallace. Yeah, hold on. Brother Marcus, Mark Wallace, hold it, brother. Hold it. Brother Mark Wallace put up there that there's not one black gun manufacturer in the state of Illinois or in the United States, period. That's real talk, people. In America, you're right. How are these guns? Our young people barely can have a healthy lunch, but they can get a hold to a gun that can shoot 30, 40 bullets in a matter of seconds. Come on now, people.
Well, Martin,
Hold it, Marcus. Hold it, Marcus. I'm on the zone. Now you said, well, Martin, they got ghost guns out here. Who's selling the parts? The parts aren't made in here in the city of Chicago. They still got to buy the parts. They could print out something, but you got to buy the parts. Who have the parts to these ghost guns? Go ahead, Marcus, and I'm going to go to the next caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Basically, what you're saying, they got the resources to bring them into our neighborhood. They own the factories. They trucking them in. They bringing them in by train. I mean, you know, no offense to the military, but these kids are getting military grade guns. What do you think happened to those guns that the military get rid of? I'm dropping that out there. Our government is bringing this stuff in here. They did this. If you study the Black Panthers, right? They didn't want another Black Panthers movement. So they did this to neutralize the Black community. They also put clinics in our neighborhoods. The doctors was prescribing pills to people who didn't need them and got them addicted to drugs.
Okay. Thank you for your comment.
Next call.
All right. We got Sergeant. Then we got another call out there. Go ahead, Sergeant.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
Oh, that situation they doing that is strictly a anti-Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States act in the Black neighborhood at that. See, in the Black neighborhood. Now, 46 arrests, right?
Mm-hmm.
The victims were the people that were arrested.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did they say there were 46 arrests of people that had felonies that lost their doggone privileges for carrying a firearm?
No, they didn't say that.
They didn't say that. They just said 46 people. The Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States and the 22nd Amendment of the state of Illinois gives each American citizen the lawful right to bear arms. And that don't mean you got to have a FOID card, or it's got to be registered, or you got to have some type of classes, or you got to have a conceal and carry permit, which Illinois didn't even have until 2016? Illinois was the last state out of 50 to actually approve a concealed and carry, whatever they want to call it. You know, so then, well, this program is a pilot program. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because I'm going to tell you, I was the victim of that myself. I don't know if you recall me telling you 10 years ago, I'm in Chicago. I'm known to carry a doggone gun. My firearm is in my car. I'm a military veteran. I had war in Iraq on my license plate. I got my military ID card with me too. They took me to jail. Took me to jail. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, you know, I could afford a good lawyer. So it didn't affect the rest of my life or any of that. They went through that whole rigmarole, and you know what I got doggone, what went on paper on my record? Expired FOID card. Because I had a FOID card at one time when I was working for A&R Security. And that card expired. I don't even know. I had to go look for it to give you the expiration date on it. But, you know, that's what they got. I'm like, okay, you got a person here. They got military credentials. They have state ID for Georgia. Do Georgia require people to register weapons? No. Can you just, Georgia a constitutional
hold it right
state?
there. Hold it right there. Hold it, Sarge, real quick. I just got a text. It says that there were people who had previous felonies. This is not the issue. The issue is that every person felony or not, has an equal protection under the law, period. And that's true.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's true. So, and also there's no victims, but the victims, the ones that got arrested, in a sense. So, I mean, yeah, this is deep. Go ahead, Sergeant. Let's go a minute, and I got to go to the next caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, the so-called justice system in Illinois, Cook County, Chicago specifically, is corrupted as all hell. It's always been that. And now that, hell, where you gonna find crack? You can't find crack no more in the hood. You barely could find heroin in the hood.
In our hood, we can.
Little pills, them fentanyls, and you know what I'm saying?
Well, listen, Sarge, I gotta disagree with you. You can find crack still in the hood, and you can still find heroin in the hood, in here in Chicago now.
Martin,
I don't know where you at.
What I'm talking about is, because I've been back and forth to the shop. I'm talking about back in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, to the degree that they were. Remember when you didn't have to look for it. It walked up to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking like that. Now, It ain't like that no more. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody done got locked down. Now, you know, they moving on to the guns.
Same concept.
It's the same thing over. It's the same thing over again. It's the war on drugs, but it's with guns now. And
right.
It's a complete violation of the Second Amendment of the United States of America, and that's the reason. And I'm gonna end it right here. When I was preaching so hard, saying that I hope Trump don't forget to make constitutional carry the law of the land of all 50 states, because that'll mess up Illinois' money for what it charged you to get a concealed and carry permit. It cost you down there $700 to get a permit to carry. Then you can only carry it concealed. You can't open carry. Like remember the Knockout King, as he called it, with the woman in the
Come on, Sarge. Come on.
Carry open. Okay, I'm gonna end it right here. If she could have been open carry, he wouldn't have thought he would have thought twice about putting his hands on that woman, because he would have seen, oh, she got that thing. She been up that thing on. See? So that's it, Mark. It's a setup. It's a complete setup. It's a setup. They send black folks to jail. It's a setup.
I already know. Thank you, Sarge. All right. Eric Code 224. Come on, caller. 224. Thank you for holding.
Yes, sir. You know what it is. Live, uncut.
Yes, sir. Old timer. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good hear from you.
You got a classic show on tonight, and you know it depends on how we going to move forward from here as a people. I like what that brother said about that 1619. Since we've been here, and you know, I'm in the city quite a bit, and I'm afraid to say that, you know, I know that they brought the migrants in there, but the migrants are putting their own touch on the front of those properties that we had plenty of opportunities to do, and people are getting mad. I was over there on 74th Street, over there off of Loomis. And you can see that whole area over there starting to change, where for years that I've been coming up and down there, you had nothing but us. Now I see the Hispanics waiting on the bus, you know, putting fences up, you know, putting concrete around, and we get mad about it.
Hey, brother, old time. Let me say something. Let me say something, preacher. No. Let me say something, preacher. If you had listened to me, in 1865, when these black folks were so-called free, Lincoln freed the slaves. What did they give black people? They gave us nothing. Nothing, brother. We had to practice capitalism without no capital. These migrants come over here, involunteer or volunteer. They got a program for them. They have a blueprint for them. They give them resources, brother. Okay? How could a person that can't speak the language, so you know if they can't speak it, they can't write it and read it, come over and outfox us? and get houses and all this other stuff, brother. Come on, it's a conspiracy going on. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of us have passed up opportunities we have not taken advantage of. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. But don't act like that these people are so righteous and so thirsty and so right. They had help, brother. They even had help getting over here. You hear people talking about they walk through the swamps or the alligator swamps to get over here, dog. Come on now. Cut the cap. These people have had, they still getting help, brother. They was flying them over here too. So right. we can't, I understand what you're saying. It's a real fight. But when they made us to be slaves and created us to be slaves, gave us a mindset of a slave, they gave us nothing, brother. Anything that we had to fight for. We had to fight for our civil rights. We had to vote. We had to fight to vote. We had to fight to eat with the white folks. We had to fight to go to the same beach, brother. These folks ain't putting no, hold on, brother. Let me say something. Our blood is in this soil, brother. Our parents of great parents have died in this country. We have fought in every war, brother. They told us to go to school, we went to school. They told us to stay out of trouble, we stayed out of trouble. They told us to get married, we got married. And they still mistreating us. You got folks right now ain't never been in trouble in the day in their life. Marcus is one on here. And he still feel the racism and the oppression. We know we're not equal with them. We know when we walk in these courthouses, there's two set of rules, one for them and one for us. We know that, brother, and I understand what you're saying. I'm not mad at the migrants. But I know they're not like us, because if they were so strong and resilient, they would stay and fight the oppression, whatever they're going through, and build up in their own land. You don't hear about the descendants of slaves. We don't run, brother. We ain't running. We fighting. We marching. Our people got water sprayed on them through water fire hoses. Our people got lynched, maimed. Our people got burned up, churches bombed. Our people on this soil.
I agree.
And where we living at right now, we right here in America. We still fighting. Now, we're still fighting. We the ones that had to boycott almost a year the buses, to get the proper respect, just to sit in front of the bus, that we paying the same fare as the white man. Brother, their struggle is nowhere near ours, brother. It's not even comparable at all, brother. So for you to try to say, or you saying that they doing this, they got help, brother. We ain't let them give us some help like they gave them. Trust me. And guess what? When they fill out an application, you know what they mark under their ethnicity? White. Did you know that?
Yep.
So that means that they're operating under privilege, and they're going to get resources. That's what that means in this country.
Well, I mean, you're right. You're right. So what is our next step is that we're not no dumb people. I mean, we got people in Congress. We had President of the United States. We had a black woman years ago ran for president of the United States.
Brother.
We are a rejected people.
Yes, we are. But listen, all that what you named, the first black this, first black that, that's nothing but illusion. I just told you we don't own anything. What are we controlling? Most of the people that we hang around don't really talk that way. I'm gonna go build a building. Most of us, we talk around whatever the subjects we want to talk about. Most of us don't talk about. Now we surviving real good, but we're not talking about these issues because it calls. Well, man, I'm only trying to say it the way it is. Now, like I said, I come from the Phillies area.
I come from the 50s era, and at one time we had rising black people across the represented this country. If we are not, if we are stagnated, we ain't done yet. But if we feel that we are stagnated, just talking about it is not going to help, because we're getting in trouble. Our young men are getting in trouble.
Bro.
Our young men have changed the culture.
Bro.
We got to address it on their
Yeah, and I agree with you, brother. Listen. But what responsibility people your age take for this happening? Okay, a lot of you guys and myself. Hold on, brother. We dropped the ball. Listen, some of our parents gave us everything that they didn't have. In other words, they lived their life through their children. I grew up dirt poor. And the best information and the teaching that we should give our children is real life issues, not shower them with material things. And we went from back in the 50s to the 60s and the 70s, we went from black power to black profits. Every man for themselves. That's all we talk about, money. We ain't got no land. We ain't owning no land, no real natural resources. If the white man say, hey, that $500,000 that you got in the bank, guess what? That dollar is only worth 10 cents. And they can control it. They make it go up and down. They have that control over the dollar, brother. Now, don't get me wrong. Power, some power is money. But what's money without land and resource? It's nothing. We own nothing. Let me explain the relationship between us that's living right now and those that was brought over here to the shores. Notice I didn't call them slaves because they made them slaves. When they brought our ancestors over here, now some of us is here already. They didn't own anything. They didn't control anything. They didn't run anything. It's the same exact thing in 2025. We don't own nothing. That very land that we own, stop paying taxes on it for 2 years and see what happened.
Right.
Be real serious. Listen, here's
convenient plan.
Right. Yes, we do. We need that plan. We need some solutions, brother. We need it. And brother, I feel you. Listen, I feel exactly what you're saying. A lot of us drop the ball to the next generation. Our younger generation right now, it's like it's getting worse and worse and worse. Now we so smart. Go ahead.
We got to look at a lot of factors. Okay, we can control things that we want to control. I mean, we can do a better job, including myself. I have to be the first one to say it about myself first. I mean, I can go to the schools more. I can give motivational talks. I can, go and sit in the classroom. These are things that are needful. Now, we don't know if they're needful for the white community, because the white community seems to be thriving no matter where you go, except for poor areas that they are. But most of them, you go out there in Wabansi, in Nico Valley. Their high schools are so much, look like neighborhoods, their schools are so big. And you come to our area, we got the same school, it haven't expanded, everything is landlocked. You can't do much. So, so that means programs are the same. They are there, for every one program that we have, they got 6. So they are going to be advancing. They got swimming programs. We don't have it. They got swimming programs.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Why we don't have these programs?
Well, I mean, most of us don't talk about swimming.
No, I'm asking you. No, hold on. No. Why we don't have these same programs that they have? I'm asking you.
Well, I'm going to have to come to the conclusion that the programs have to be sustained over a long period of time, and we don't have the sustaining power, because it has to be, you can't open that pool just for 3 or 4 people. That pool has to be open and has to be. So therefore, they don't have no interest in us having it.
Brother. Okay, hold on. Now hold it.
One thing that you have to be real about.
Hold it. Now you just said that they don't have no interest of us having it. All right. So that means they're not going to give us the resources to obtain it.
Right, but they doing the study.
So why you blaming? Okay, why are you blaming us? Why are you blaming black folks, the black community, because we don't have a decent swimming pool in the area like the white people? Why are you blaming us? It sounds like you're blaming us.
There's not much of it. No. Well, we have to grow, man. We have to grow. We've been here since 1619. So we have to. If anybody should be growing, it should be us.
So you telling me?
If you look at.
Okay, brother. Okay, so you saying black people, we have no achievements in this country. Do me a favor.
No,
think of your man. Okay, come on now, brother. Come on now. You got listen. Let me just say, I got an old time. I'm trying to get to you. Listen, bro. Let me just say something. As they said, I wanted to say the black man invented the stoplight, and the white man invented the ticket. He get to get paid for it. Everything we invent, he get paid. We invent the music, and he get paid for it. So.
I know the guy that invented the triple edge windshield wiper. He was right in the city where I live.
Mm-hmm.
He was waiting for his mother outside to get off work, and he was sitting in his car, and he got the idea when it was raining, and he came up with the triple edge windshield wiper. But he was not able to do nothing with it, so that's why the other people got it. It was advertised all on TV. That boy just lived a stone's throw from where I live. And yet at the same time, nobody black took and put an interest in it and put serious money behind it. So the white folk got it. So what I'm saying is they got things that we can do. All our NBA players, they need to be going to the schools, talking to people so people can see them. Our football players, they need to be going out there. When you see soccer players from the other land, when they come out the tunnel, they got a little child with them walking out there on the field without fail. We have to do these things, and it don't stop. You got Michael Jordan. Yeah, I don't care who you are. You got to go over to the school and shake the little child's hand and rub their head and different stuff. We have to do these, and we have our control over this.
But okay.
Some of them.
Okay, but I'm talking about resources. Why is it that you answer this question? Hold on, just answer this question. This is a basic question. Can you agree with me on this? Do you know any black gun manufacturers here in the United States? Do you know any one of them? Are there any?
No.
Okay, now answer this question. How could a poor young man, teenager, that's on public assistance, we got the highest unemployment anyway of any race, get a hold to a weapon, automatic weapon, $1,000 weapon, and he can't even get his school books, pay for his own school. How could he get a hold to something like that? How could he get a hold to guns and drugs when it's not made in his community? Where is it coming from? Who's placing it there? Who's putting it there? I'm asking you. Let's talk about the
white man is putting it there.
Well, why you hold on? Okay, now since you said the white man is doing this, why do you think the white man is doing it?
Well, I mean, he got guns. He got a surplus of guns. He got guns that he can't use, and he got guns that you can. Hey, you can have black people to fight with one another, and we are overcome. And we overcome one another. Now we are tight. We are real tight. We are real tight knit in that area.
Okay,
we don't mind fighting.
No, we don't. We don't. They don't mind. Listen, they don't mind fighting either. They fight against us all the time. What kind of? But hold on. What kind of spirit that these people possess that they're willing to put addictive drugs in the community and illegal guns in the community? What type of spirit? Now you're a spiritual, you're a pastor, you're a preacher. What kind of spirit what type of spirit are they operating in?
There's an evil spirit. There's an evil spirit, a spirit iniquity. So they'll do anything. They'll do anything to make money, and they'll do anything to put us down. I'm saying that we have to progress past that point. Now,
how we gonna how we gonna listen? How we gonna progress past that? And we can't even get along with each other. How we gonna progress past that? We know what the white man doing to us, but we can't seem to come together. Not all of us gonna come together and fix our own problem.
They got that song out. Well, they got that song out there now. Where them fans at? And you see black people unified. They flapping the fans together.
But
they doing the dance together.
Listen,
even though some of them
that's brother. That's minor. I'm talking about major. That's minor. We see that. We see that. We see that all. We see. Listen. We see millions of black people go to church on Sundays. Still ain't nothing changed. Not even in some of their behavior. You know that. You're a preacher. How many people that came into your? How many people that came into your congregation that you are and probably left out worse than they came in? Not saying nothing wrong with your congregation, but just some people don't want this. You remember, we're living in a free will life generation.
Free will. That's true.
It's free will, brother. We could choose to serve, or we could choose not to serve God. We could choose to do good, or we could choose not to do good. You know, we have that will.
I mean, that's true what you're saying, but we have to rise above using the N-word. We using the N-word on rap records to sell a whole lot of records. Now you know from the 60s. I'm trying to get past it.
Go ahead.
I'm signing off after this. You know, all through all the old time school records, you don't see them using none of that kind of language. And you can name group after group after group after group with the women and the men, the drills, the shot. You never heard nothing out of line glorifying, calling women and different things. We have brought this stuff into our community, and we want it there. We have to rise above that. That's all I'm saying. Now, we cannot. They used to say sticks and stones may break my bones, but names never hurt me. But that meant for you to rise above what somebody would call you. Now we talking about, we done grabbed the word, and it's an endearment. All niggas, all this, that way, you know. Now we act like it ain't nothing. So we don't want to go across. We even use these terms in front of Caucasian people. Man, I ain't let no nigga one up me and all this kind of stuff. We have to come back to the center where we control our communities. Right now, we are doing some things that is not benefiting all of our people. And we have to continue to be reaching out. We have to continue to have long lines in our community where other people, hey man, they thrive. And look at the Cub Park. The Cub Park full of people. Okay,
brother. Hold on. Is this about material things? Are they thriving? What you call it thriving? Because they own everything. Come on now, brother. Come on now. You just told me these old evil people that place and put drugs in the community, they're evil. How's they thriving, brother? You listen, you looking at the material God, brother. You can't, come on now, brother. Stop it, brother. Listen. The sinners are more, a lot of sinners got way more wealth than saints. But the scripture clearly tells us the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. It clearly tells us that.
Okay.
So because a person that got a car and a home and smiling and holding his wife can be just as evil and negative and dirty and low down and demonic, period. It ain't about no material things, brother. It's about love, brother, self-help. You know what I'm saying? Come on, listen, brother, Job said it. Naked I came and naked I leave. Everything that you own in life, brother, your wife, when you leave this place, is gone. Your wife is temporary. Your own body is temporary. Your family is temporary. Your degree, your pension, your education, all that is temporarily. Now, it's yours while you possess, while you here, brother. It ain't about no material things. You can't base because these people got all the land, all the land, and own all the resources that they're doing well. You listen, these folks are evil, man. They're evil. They're evil. Here's a people. All the way they can worship Jesus, they got to paint them white, and they know good and well that image is not right, but they claim to be righteous, and they'll stick to it. That's a sick person.
But I've been to black churches. I've been to black churches, Trinity, All Nations Church of Christ. One of the best preachers they had, Jeremiah Wright. One of the best, most prolific preachers that they've had a black Jesus there. And we can turn the spectrum whatever way that we want to. We have the power to do that. We can do it. We can choose to go over the white man, but we got to be willing to want to. It ain't going to be an argument about it.
No, I understand. What year? Do you know what year that black people could start reading? That they allow us to read, brother? Do you know? Can you recall? Anybody can recall on here when they allow?
I remember. Then you said, I understand what you're saying. I don't know the exact year, but they used to have a commercial on TV way back in the 60s, and where the people was trying to learn how to read on the Bodie plantation, and the people was knocking at the door, just trying to break the door down because they know that they was in there learning how to read. So they came up with the term, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." But I'm saying we can no longer have that today. That's all I'm saying. We no longer can have it. We got to know what we know, and we got to know it well.
All right.
And we got to know it extremely well. Just like they know the rap lyrics, they got to know how to.
But brother, that's a small portion of. Not every black. Listen, brother. Not every. Listen, brother. Do you realize I said earlier there are more black men in college than it is in jail? Did you know that? Do you believe that? You can look that up.
I agree.
Okay, let me hear some.
I agree. I believe
okay, let's focus on that too as well. Now we just can't point out all the bad and we don't say the good. You know, we got. Listen,
I believe that, but
I ain't no belief that
we got a strong middle class.
Right.
We got a strong middle class in our congressional black caucus. All of these people are made up of fine minds, even though you only hear nothing about the congressional black caucus nowadays. But they're there fighting and showing you that you can make it in this world. And you can make it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy being a congressman. It's not going to be easy being a senator. You got to fight for that job. You got to know your stuff. You got to know mathematics. You got to know chemistry. Man, there's a whole lot of things that it's going to take to make it in this life. And we right up on the cusp of it. But things are changing every day.
Brother,
the teachers are changing.
If we looking at celebrities with all that money to be example to our young people, we in trouble, brother. We in trouble. We in trouble, bro. Yeah, but brother, listen, come on now. Success. Listen, success is not. Listen, I tell all my buddies that's well off. It's only so many houses you can buy. It's only so much jewelry that you can buy. It's only so many cars that you can buy. Then what's left? It's so many trips that you're going to take. Then it becomes bored. It becomes bored. So it's more than life just owning a house, making a lot of money, going on lavish trips, and all. It's more than life to that, brother. Listen, one thing about a lot of people down south, man, they loved each other. They didn't have nothing, brother. They loved each other. They had that love. We had that love back in the 50s and 60s, that black power love, brother. We trade that black power love into black profits. We chasing money. Money is not going to bring us together, brother. We chasing money. Everybody got theirs.
That's why I say we got to come back to the center.
Yeah.
That's why I say we need to come back. I know exactly what you're talking about. They used to have an Afro pick with the power, with the African love sign right in the middle of it. We had all of that. I'm saying we had it, but nowadays it's turned to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, years ago, when you had two people break up a fight, then they would stop. Nowadays, you try to break up a fight, you don't know what's going to happen.
No, you don't.
You don't know what's going to happen, and I don't mean it to try to turn in that direction.
Right.
All I'm saying is that we are the people that got to understand that we control not only United States, we control this world's destiny with our vote. And we can't afford for nobody to be hoodwinking us, talking about you got to be in this particular party who they don't care nothing about. I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done.
Go ahead.
Okay, now whoever controls that 1,600, look how much power that it can affect. 1,600 affects everything around the world. Now we got the people to put who we want in there, but we can't be jumping from pillar to post because you can say, well, the Democratic Party, they support homosexuality. Well, okay, now look, there's a million sins out there. We can't just target one sin. The Republicans do a lot of stuff that ain't right neither, but they are loyal to their party. We are being told you need to leave that. Why would you keep doing something that ain't working for you? Well, who said it's not working? It is working.
It's probably working. It's working for you. You probably done great under the Democratic Party. I mean, everybody don't listen, brother. Listen. Listen. It's a lot of people that got rich being a Democrat. It's a lot of people got rich.
Right.
Why are you gonna get mad at somebody else if they decide to be a Republican? This is a free will, brother. Everybody has an opinion. You can't, brother. You can't do that. You can't. No, hold on, brother. No. Listen. First, no, I didn't know sidetrack. You see, that's black people problem now. They don't know how to operate properly, brother. Listen, Democrats and Republicans are here to stay. They're not going nowhere, brother. Trust me. We only got one constitution, supposedly one constitution. Now, because a brother that looked like you was a Republican, he's the enemy. Or because a Republican brother called a Democrat, he's the enemy. That's not so, bro. We still, listen, we all we got in this country. Neither party, I'm going to keep telling you, brother, is not going to save black people. It's just not going to, listen, I tell you all the time, it's the blacks that run the city of Chicago. It's the Democrats. It's not the Republicans. They're not running Chicago. So what's Chicago problem? I'm a registered Democrat. You can Google my name, research my name. I'm a registered Democrat, brother. I can't blame nothing that's going on in the city of Chicago on Republicans. I can't.
Okay, but Martin,
can you agree with that? Hold on, I'm asking you a question. Can you agree with that?
I'm sorry, make the statement again.
No, can you agree with that? Right. I cannot blame what's going on in Chicago on Republicans. And I'm not a Republican. I'm not taking up for the Republicans. I can't blame them. I can't blame them. All the power Democrats have most of the power, brother. And here in the city of Chicago, they do. Cook County, they do. I know that for a fact. I vote Democrat.
Yeah, but when you come down, but all out in the collar counties and different things, most of them are Republicans. I'm just saying this to be quiet. Promise. In order for to become a Republican, you got to learn how to speak against black people. Now, you don't have to agree with it if you don't want to, but you look at the average and above average black Republican, the number one conversation is against black people being Democrat. And you'll never see, they got to give a long story about their grandfather and grandmother, how they rose up from the ranks. You don't never see white people doing that. White people don't never get up and talk about, well, you know, we had that old slave system down there with the Dixiecrats and with the Confederate flag. And my mama, I was the first one to go to college.
So
they rarely.
Well, let me ask you a question.
To become a Republican, you have to go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. For those of you that's listening to me, whether side you on the Democrat or Republican, it takes both sides to pass policy. It takes both sides to pass policies. Period, people. They work to listen. The golden rule in politics, there's no permanent enemies. Democrats work with Republicans and Republicans work with Democrats. So don't be fooled, people out there. Please do not be fooled. Please do not be fooled. They work together. Guess what? Guess what? They work together to stay on your black neck. That's why you ain't got nothing. They'll give a few of us something and make it look good. Diversity is not for black people. It's for white people. So trust me, people, they're working together to stay on our neck, brother. Trust me.
Okay, Martin, okay, but you leaving out something major. Now, I know you're right about a lot of stuff. The white man is out to protect his interests.
Of course.
His family. That's his neighborhood.
Okay.
If they loosen these laws up, them black boys gonna go right up in there getting those white girls. And they're gonna go right in that neighborhood and start moving in there. They got to hold a line on that, Democrat and Republican. They got to hold a line on it because they're gonna lose everything. And that's not what they got to put subliminal things in there. They got to put redlining.
Okay, now hold on.
Huh?
They got to do it. So what make either party is right, more better than the other? Then, if they got to do it, they mean plural. What make either party more right than the other? I rest my case. You just said they got to do it. You're referring as both.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but in order to become a Republican, your conversation has to be against black people. You have to look at all of the black Republicans. Donald, look at Scott.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question.
All the conversations are against,
let me ask you a question.
Against black people.
I got a Democrat on here right now, and he's doing well in life. And I learned a lot from him. His name is Mark Wallace. I believe he's on here now. Mark told me, he mentioned that there are 77 communities here in the city of Chicago. And all the communities that are predominantly white, they are thriving. And you know the story about the black communities. The ones that's predominantly black, they're on a decline. Now, this is a Democratic city, brother. I'm telling you. So I'm just telling you. So what excuse do Democrats have to be? What do they have? They're mistreating our people too as well, brother. Now, I'm not saying that we don't get anything from the Democrats. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying the one is not better than the other. They both got sin and log and beams in their eyes. What we gonna do? We waiting on these parties to save us, brother. We made a few dollars under the Democrat Party. We made a little money. But what about the rest of our people that's starving? We got the highest unemployment, black youth, in the country. This is why when the Democrats was in the House. We still got it. We still got it with the Republicans in the House. Ain't nothing changed, brother. Nothing changed.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm not. Listen. I understand what you're saying, brother. We putting one before the other. Now we get more out of the Democrat Party far as resources than we do the Republicans. I can stand up and say that. I could say that. But that still don't make them better because we get more resources from the other. Because I could find a bunch of fault in both of them, brother. Both of them. I definitely can. And you can too. And I ain't covered up none of their wrongdoing because I'm a Democrat. They wrong. Republicans, when they wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, none of them don't really care about black people. All what they can get and use us. Period. Look at our communities, brother. Look at these communities. Look at these communities, brother. Look at them. You don't think black people want a good job and thriving job to make wages? You don't think black people want to live decent? You think some black people want to live around gun violence and shooting and mayhem? That's not all of us, brother. Now, there are some that love this violence, and I agree with you. I used to disagree with you, but I agree with you now. I said, man, that brother right. Some of these black folks, they like all this killing and shooting and all that. They love it. But I'm one, and I can speak for myself. I'm not like that, but go ahead and say something. We're going to get ready to end, and I got to get off here. I've been on here man, but I appreciate you, brother. Now, I'm not saying everything you said was wrong or I disagree, but I can find fault in both parties, brother. What have they done for us lately?
You got an excellent show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I mean, I appreciate you coming. Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
That points to professionalism that we do have. I mean, it's an excellent show. And this is a show where young people can get on here and say, hey, look, I'm trying to better myself. What should I do? Somebody on this show can help them with that answer, or with that question. Okay, so from here on out, we have to look at that education they don't want education to be for us.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want no other race to touch, to mingle with us. You don't see hardly no. Every now and then you see a black man with a Chinese woman. Every now and then, our young people. But if they open, if they lift those gates up and say, look, we got to give it. Anybody that's got rid of. Look how Trump say if any school had DEI, they was going to suspend funding. But he didn't say any neighborhood that's practicing racism, we going to target you. He didn't say that.
He ain't gonna say that.
But they know what they're doing.
Of course.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you like this here. I couldn't care less what he do. I know who I am, and I know that it takes a job.
But
if you have a job,
but let me just say something.
That nobody can do.
Let me say this: President Donald Trump did not invent racism. It's gonna be here when he dead and gone. It was here before he was born. Trust me. So he's not the. Right. Of course. I mean, listen, brother. It's nearly impossible for a white person to live in a society that don't enjoy the fruits of racism. Come on, brother. It's nearly almost impossible. There are some doors with all the money you got in the bank that a white person don't have. That a white person get in some doors here in this United States that you can get in that you can't get in. Because of your skin color.
That's true.
I don't care how much money you got. Your money is no good when it comes to certain things when white privilege is on the table. Your money is no good. Your status is no good. Your education is no good when it comes to white privilege, brother. At the end of the day, whitey is going to stick with whitey. And they rightfully so, they should. I believe if we was in position
when they wrong.
Yeah.
When they wrong, they should.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you this, preacher, thank you, preacher, there's not a Quran, there's not a King James version, a translated version, or a living Bible gonna stop the white man from feeding his first before he feed another person, another race of people. That's not gonna happen.
Well, and to prove that, the white people was out there yesterday in Gurney. I was out there. I was in my car, and I sent the video out on Facebook. It's out there. The white people had every kind of sign, and they was running from their cars to jump in the hands-off movement they had yesterday. Come to find out the hands-off movement was going around the whole United States.
Yeah, it was.
That wasn't a rally for black people.
No, not at all.
That was a rally for white people.
Yes.
Because, we have the same opportunity, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And we got to be proficient in it.
Yeah, we do.
And we have to have the mass amount of people. And those people took to the street. They was running from the car to get in the line to hold up their sign. They was on wheelchairs.
Yeah.
They was on crutches. They had everybody out there saying, hands off my 401k. Hands off my Social Security.
See?
So all I'm saying is this is a real fight, and we got to fight because, hey, we number two. Ain't nobody better than us, but we gonna have to fight to hold on our position.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with you.
People said the ones that going to college, but we got a set of people maybe that didn't go to college or not going. They're gonna have to hold fast. They got to get in there and try to take up a trade or do something. They got to be viable because they're cutting out some everything.
Yeah, they gotta have. You're right. They gotta have some type of value to be some. You gotta have some type of educational skill set. I mean, not just education, but you have to have something that is relevant. Now, don't go to school to be a tailor, and you know in that position that's a dead area occupation. I'm just giving an example now. I'm just giving an example. So don't go into no outdated profession that is outdated and it's over with, it's done, and you ain't gonna make no money just to say you got a degree or you got a apprenticeship or something. You're just wasting time. Just wasting time.
Right. And that's a good point. And if you notice in that movie Juice, when they had that movie Juice, a young man was trying to perfect his hone the skill by spinning records. So he was in the contest. Well, what was Tupac doing? Hey man, you know, we got to pull this robbery off tonight. And then in the movie South Central, when the boy Bobby he got out of jail, he said, "Man, I ain't with that no more." What did the dude told me? Say, "Hey man, don't be going soft on me now." I'm saying we have to put our own mind on and say, "Hey man, look, I do know these fellas. I grew up with y'all. I grew up with people that's in gangs. Grew up with people selling drugs. But at some point in time, the man approached me. I got off the streetcar. The man approached me and said, "Hey, little brother." He said, "Man, you know, I got this proposition for you." And I was scared, but I kept on walking. He told me he can set me up to sell drugs. He said, "Man, you ain't got to worry about nothing." He said, "You have your own money. I can, you know, I do this here." And I told him, I said, "No, I don't want him to do it." He said, "See, that's what y'all problem is now. See, somebody trying to give you an opportunity and look at you." And he was driving a UPS truck. And he told me that I had my book bag in my hand. He caught me by myself. I was by myself, but I didn't do it. But when you look at it, we got to do the same thing. We got the whole thing ground, and we got the whole.
Y'all forgive me. Thank you. Y'all forgive me what I'm about to say.
Yes,
but the local drug man had gave a lot of people jobs. I hate to say it like that. The local man, he may get you to chop up the drugs or hold the drugs or deliver the drugs, but he done passed out a lot of jobs when you couldn't get no job. I'm just saying, not saying that it's right. Not saying that it's right. I'm not glorifying drugs, people. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. It's wrong. But the local drug man.
He said that in New Jack City.
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah.
He said that in New Jack City when they was in the tunnel. The man, he gave the little boy some money. He said, "Nah, man." And then the other man jumped in and jumped on it about it. But he said, "Look at what we got now. What's the Snipes trying to have the boy some money?" He said, "Look what we got now. You singing this Kumbaya and this Martin Luther King, and we ain't got the part of the window." That's what he said. But he was offering them something. And then he did offer the other man. He said, "Pookie, you clean yourself up, I'll give you a job." And what is that job? Selling drugs. When he gave him a job, he said, "You clean yourself up? Hey man, I'm gonna give you a job." And he went there and the boy made him a drug pusher. That's what he did. Now he coming off of weakness, and then the man got him, so called him at the time. He said, "I'll give you a job." And he was doing good until he messed back with some drugs again. But the job that he gave him, it was dealing with drugs.
That's true.
I'm saying, and when the boy got out of jail, in South Central, he said, "Deuce has got me 10 years. I don't want to go back to that." But the man was still pushing for him to come back. And we got people out there that we going to have to reject, and we got to go for the better side of life. That's the point that's going to be before all of us. We got to do it.
All right, preacher. I made the show. Thank you for talking, man. I appreciate you, man. Enjoyed it. I'm out of here, man. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. Live, uncut, unedited. Tell the truth. And shame the devil. I love being black. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you share the video. Make sure you like the video. Mark Wallace will be having a show on today, today. And I'm definitely going to share it on my page. Follow Mark Wallace on Facebook, social media. I believe he's on YouTube as well. Mark Wallace. He's going to have some attorneys on his page tomorrow. And I want to thank you guys for doing it. Yeah. Thank you. So follow Mark Wallace on Facebook. I know he's on Facebook. I'm not sure about YouTube, but Mark Wallace will be talking about the very same thing that I spoke about today, but with legal advice. He's going to have some, I think a retired judge or something. Also, he's an attorney himself. So he's going to go more in detail with me. Okay. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in.